You don't want any more James Earl Jones?
He died.
When did he die?
He died, didn't he?
James Earl Jones died? No, he didn't. The hell, Neal?
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to murder him.
Okay, it was like...
Hey, everybody. We were talking shit right before this. This bit that we're doing here.
Sorry.
No. That I have a story about this bit.
Oh, tell me.
This is SNL historian Neal Brennan. It's not even a historian. This is whatever the fuck I am.
I was just thinking when we were talking before this aired that I'm like, Neal's a comedic historian. Comedy historian.
Last 30 years, I would say.
That's
Before that,
pretty
Cliff
good.
Nesteroff is across the board, like actual writes books.
Right.
So that bit we were just doing, did you ever see Fred Armisen and Kristen Wiig do that bit on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
So while they were doing it in like 08, 09, Seth was hosting Update, and I go, you know what that bit could use? You should say, hey, this seems like you guys are, Fred, it seems like you're making this up. And Kristen, it seems like you're trying to follow along. Which would have, because it would get like
Right.
half laughs because the audience didn't quite understand it.
It like didn't land as...
Yeah, it's like fucking hilarious, but the audience doesn't know what they're looking at. So it's like, I cannot say that to them. Which is just like the way SNL works, where you can't...
But that would just be a good note.
Yes, but you can't note people.
Why?
If it's just the rules. Because it would get too messy too quickly.
It'd be like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
like, no, we got it. Like, what? I don't think that Fred wouldn't do that.
No, they'd be fine, but it just...
And then, and then at somebody's wedding, who I won't say whose wedding because it's not going great according to the tabloids. I say to... So then Fred does a similar bit on Seth's show where they make up books and they go, Fred, do you know what this is about? And he's very clearly, and Seth says, I think you're making this up. And then they always cut to Fred, and it's always fucking hilarious.
It's so funny. Fred's
and I said to Fred, the note I gave to Seth, he's like, why didn't he say that? So
it's always worse than you think. Like in your head, it's like, no, I don't want to say it. I don't know.
Of course. Well, I get it, but the fact that he's like, I would have, you're right. And I would have absolutely done it. That's show business for you guys. And that is a story
Welcome
about showbiz
Hollywood.
that is not involving black people very much. Fred is a little black.
Latino.
He's a bunch of stuff. I don't know what he is.
You know, I always got him and Al Madrigal confused a lot. Like,
I get that. Insult to Al's good looking. Al's good looking.
Al's good looking.
Yeah, Al's good looking. And Fred's interesting looking.
Yeah, but I could see he's like not bad looking.
No.
They're both like manly in a weird way.
Fred is so fucking funny.
He's very funny.
It's like, fuck. It's crazy.
Neal made a very good face.
So Bianca,
Yeah,
how was your week?
it's pretty good.
What'd you get into?
I went to a roast of our friend.
Yeah,
leaving
Adam
the
Egget
store.
from the
Adam
Comedy
Egget.
Store is leaving, and I didn't go to the roast because I am sensitive, and if anyone had made a joke about me and I wasn't there, it's like when you go to roast, you're like going to a gun range, and it's like, you might get shot. So it's like a very disorganized gun range, and I didn't want to get shot supporting Adam. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Like, damn, I
I'm
came
there.
here
Like,
to-
what the fuck am I doing? So yeah.
It was very funny, and it just felt like one of those old school roasts. No cameras, no recording, just very inside baseball. No joke had to be explained. No joke went over anyone's head. Some people bombed. It was awful to watch.
There's always one.
There's always one where you're like, ugh. But it was better. Like, it was nice that person bombed. We all bonded on their bomb.
The worst, greatest roast story of all time is somebody was roommates. This is in New York. It's in the 90s. And somebody, or the early thousands, somebody had made an SNL audition with like characters and all this stuff and was roommates with another comic. And they showed the audition tape at the roast. Just as like without, just excruciating. Just one of the meanest things you can do.
Cruel, like.
And reminds me of a age-old philosophical question. Would you rather find out that your girlfriend did porn, or that's on Pornhub, or would you rather find out that your girlfriend has a compilation of characters on YouTube? It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a toughie. A lot of wigs, or just another fella doing it to her. Which would be easier to deal with long term? 9 different characters, none of them very good.
What you have to answer?
Porn. I'm gonna go porn. I'd rather she have done porn.
Yeah.
The older I get, the less jealous I am.
Just understand. Like,
of just like, I wasn't there.
Right.
It's not like you left me to fuck this person.
Right.
I don't, especially in the age of OnlyFans.
Wait, so you were jealous? Before?
Oh, yeah. I used to be very jealous.
Not
like,
I can't imagine.
not jealous, like, where were you?
Right.
More like sexual theater. Like she had more fun in the past or dumb shit like that. Like, I don't fuck at this point. It's like, now I'm like, well, how'd that go? Where is he?
Okay. What about if there was a dinner party and she was laughing a lot with like other comedians, and not that much with you?
That I could very quickly recognize was smallness issue that was based on nothing. Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking.
They were being
like,
funny.
Why are you laughing at John Mulaney of all people? So Chris Rock does it for you? Like, fucking, they're funny.
Oh, that's
good. Why I'm friends with them. Like,
that's good.
Like, that was never an issue for me.
It wasn't real time jealousy. It was just like they had more fun with an ex. I don't know why that's
just
really
sexual. I was not as good at sex as somebody else.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, just not even in character, really.
Right.
Like, just like that. Oh, that sounds like a Neal problem. I don't know. It was just a thing that I would, not fixate on, but it was aware. Yeah.
Interesting.
Fucking stupid.
Question.
Yeah.
Are there rules in a roast?
In a roast.
In general. Is there can you go too far?
Well,
is it like a rap battle?
Not really. Because even rap battles, Pusha T said all that stuff about like
Drake. But people were like, he went too far.
Paternity tests and all that. I mean, it was about saying your friend's dying. That was like, whoa, you got him. You got him good. I don't know if it's well said. If it's a well structured joke, fucking have at it.
Yeah.
But if it's beyond, if it's like, this is an old SNL story.
Come on.
That Bill Murray one time yelled at Chevy Chase, pointed at him and said, "Medium talent," which is which is like good. The ruder than anything. Your mom, medium talent is like, fuck. That is damning.
That's, you guys, that's the comic kryptonite. If you want to get a comic.
Yeah.
Like,
well, medium talent. Yeah. It's just anyone. Call a girl a 5.
Yeah, but comics appear to be a lot harder to insult than.
Well, they were fighting. That Chevy and Murray were fighting.
Oh, that was like
they were like arguing. I mean, they used to have fist fights. Like they were like real 70s shit.
Right.
There'd be like a chimp there for no reason because it was the 70s.
Got to.
Yeah. So medium talent is That's almost too far to me. Like, that's like, hey, man, there's ways to say that I can trick myself into thinking aren't that.
But
medium talent's a tough one. Medium talent's on me. It's not the industry doesn't like it. It's just medium talent. It's like, oof.
That's very good.
I want to say Patrice called Jeselnik mediocre, which is wrong. But Patrice had a thing in that region about Jeselnik on the roast of Patrice. Or the roast of, I don't remember who was on, but the one that Patrice was on.
They were both on.
Yeah.
What, was it after BTS?
No, it was on the dais.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think, it was just like, you're a waiter. You look like you're like a waiter at medieval times. It was just sort of, even that's jokey, so
like,
I am wrong.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So
I did that, and then my friend had a birthday, and it was very nice. It felt like she hired a cellist.
interesting. Somebody's old.
I know, and we had brunch, and I kept calling it Black Bridgerton. It's like,
isn't the kid on Bridgerton Black?
Yeah. But not everyone.
It was a white culture.
Not everyone was black on Bridgerton. Everyone was black at this brunch.
Never gonna watch one frame.
Of Bridgerton?
Yeah, don't care.
Lord Brennan.
No, yeah, it does nothing for me. I just don't care. I don't watch this.
It's honestly, it's barely for me. If you watch it, it's like, this is easy watching.
If he wasn't black, would you care?
Yeah, I like Downton Abbey. I like that shit.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's some things.
It feels
like,
a bit
you can be
more
diverse, but
I don't know. I don't want to say girly, but
I want to do a joke about diverse casting where they want us to be like, they'll have like a judge show, and it'll be like a 45-year-old black lady, and they want all of us to be like, black judge. Like, what?
Southern black folks.
How do you guys think of a black judge? Like, they're so proud of it. Like, and we made her black. Anyhow,
what'd you do?
What did I do? I did spots on Thursday and Saturday.
Where?
Improv and store and jam
Outdoor
in the van,
thing.
outdoor thingy. And it was great. It's fun. And stand-up comedy is endlessly fascinating. That's kind of the only shit I did. That was like, stuff.
Stuff.
So that's the only time I left the house. And I went to Whole Foods yesterday.
How was that?
And you can bring your own bag again, guys. FYI, you had to use paper bags there for a while, for about a year. Bring your own bag.
They won't let me ever bag that was hard for me. Because I'm like, I'll bag. It's like, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, you can't go back there now.
I will bag my own groceries. I don't like when they bag it.
Well, I have some good news.
What?
The Venice store, Venice blew it out. Venice was already the flagship. They've added a deck to the flagship.
In what way?
They just cleared out a bunch. They just opened up what feels like a football field to the left.
Why?
When you walk in,
I
don't know. They just moved a bunch of shit. And self-checkout.
Self-checkout I love it. I take my time. I'm like, don't look at me. Go around me. I will be here for a second.
It's slow. And the problem is they have fruit and you can't. I typed in the number.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't recognize it. So then you have to go mango, red mango, yellow mango,
yeah, but then
organic,
you don't have
yellow.
to say if it's organic.
Right. Then
their fault. That's their fault.
Right. But I think I cheated, but I didn't do it. I was like, I don't know. I don't remember.
I just go to the quickest. If it's organic or not, I'm like, green onion bag.
Have you checked out at Whole Foods?
Yeah.
By yourself?
No. With my mommy and dad.
No. I'm saying it's like the self-checkout opened yesterday.
The one in downtown LA has been
done
thriving.
Been done had what had?
Thriving. Well, it's because I don't know if you know this. I used to work at Whole Foods.
Oh, so you're an OJ.
And
you slide your laminate in there and fucking.
Listen, bananas 4011 organic.
Ooh,
9411.
she still has it, everybody. She still got it.
Still got it.
Anyhow, the week It wasn't a wild week.
You crack me up.
In the world. Yeah, I'd like to say right now, we're not even talking about Israel or Palestine because it's just.
We're not.
I got nothing to add.
We're good. Thanks.
I got nothing to add. What do you think I think? That's what I think. And then another question, what do you want me to think? I also think that.
It's funny. I like none of our lists we put together. We both
list to each other, and neither of us wanted to talk about it. Because it's just like it's a bog. It's just a mud bog.
Yeah, and
I
there's
just don't want to go.
way for us to do any justification by publicly trying to sort through this thing that no one can sort through.
I have a whole social media plan, which is never. I don't think I'm ever gonna make a public declaration ever again.
Thank God.
Because it's just fucking stupid. It's just stupid.
It's dumb. It's like the amount of just there's too much ignorance. I don't mean it, and I just mean honestly, just not knowing information. Mm-hmm. So then you put and then public declarations are just. And I, for the record, why?
Who cares?
It's fine. No one cares.
I'll give you jokes on my page. What do you want? That's what I have. I have jokes.
Give it to us, Neal.
So it's pretty good.
It's a good
it's been pretty good for a while, guys. You've liked them pretty consistently, so just keep liking them.
Good one, Neal.
Thank you. Historically. The masks. What do you make of the masks?
Geez, smoking. No, the CDC is weird. CDC's weird.
It seems.
I feel like they have a PR operation.
It seemed like they had stuff. It just seems disorganized. It seems like there are two different people.
That's what I mean.
Who are struggling for messaging.
Right. And then that one won. And then
the other one's like, actually, no. Well, why don't we release the third? Why wait? Fuck it. Well, you wait because you have to get everyone. Because I went to the store, for instance, the Comedy Store, and I'm like, do I wear one?
No, now you're getting, listen, I'm getting shamed. You don't need, you put.
Oh, now, yeah, you shame for
having the mask.
They want you to take it off. It's so weird. Like, why do you care if I'm wearing one? It makes you feel bad? That's what it is. It makes people feel bad about their choice.
It reminds me of when I lived in Panama. When I sat in the back seat, every time I sat in the back seat, I put on my seatbelt. Everyone, no.
Perfect.
No, necesito no. I'm like, gonna do it for safety. Everyone said. Everyone was like, it's so fucking good.
The production on Bianca is the guy flew to Jamaica to do it in Bob Marley's studio. It's unbelievable.
I was like, so the law says the person in the front seat has to have your seatbelt on. Mm-hmm.
Why can't they have them back here? I've as somebody who's worn a seatbelt in taxis for 30 years because I dated a girl who she got into a thing and had a fucking scar on her forehead from just being in the back seat and getting popped. She got into an accident and she has a giant scar on it. And I was like, why am I hot dogging back there?
Hot dogging.
Like, why am I hot dogging? Like, women are going to be like, that guy's not wearing a... As I drive by in a cab, the woman's like, woo. The girl lowers her sunglasses. She's like, who's that hot dog wearing no seat, going bareback?
It's just funny to me because when I thought about it, I'm like, you guys have a high rate of vehicle mortality. I don't know what the exact statistic is. In Panama, in Latin America, there's just a high rate.
Thailand, it's off the hook.
Those
there are
tuk-tuks.
more
Tuk-tuks.
tuk-tuks and mopeds, and it's like the highest mortality. It's so fucking crazy.
But yeah, so it kind of is the psychology of masks. It's like you don't need to do this.
If we all don't wear them, COVID ain't. Walk me through the logic. COVID would never. COVID would never do that. I went to Starbucks yesterday, and half the people had them on, half the people had them off, and it's like, well, it's California. California's in America still, right?
Right. We also do have daily COVID infection rates and deaths. They're just very low.
Yeah, they're really low.
Especially the death rate. It's very low. But it's still higher than other parts of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no advantage to not wearing a mask, especially because what do you, I just don't, it's going to be confusing for a year.
My friend's parents are flight attendants. They've been flight attendants for a long time, and they just only do I think they only do China and Australia. And so now they're still doing routes to Australia. And they say that in Australia.
Will you do me a favor, apologize to Australians again? Because we got more
Guys,
notes and letters.
I know.
A guy came at me for saying the most deadliest spider actually only lives in Sydney. But meanwhile, somebody else sent me an email saying that there was an email saying there have been no deaths.
Listen, then somebody DM'd me saying, there's like no snakes. What are you worried about snakes? I'm like, taipans. And he's like, there's no taipans in Australia. They're only in India. And then I just screenshotted like taipans like that are literally only from West Australia. I'm like, I don't think no one's clear on the deadly animals in Australia. I watch nature docs. They tell me there's this one called like Top World's Deadliest. And the intro to each, like number 10, number 9, is they do an outline of the country. Everything is like Australia.
Yeah. Whoa.
Australia. I'm like, there's deadly things there, guys.
Yeah, but like far out. Okay, you were saying they fly to Australia and China.
So in Australia, they have to, like, they're met off the plane with a police officer that walks them to, they're escorted into.
They're not, Australia, they are absolutely not playing.
They're not playing at all. They're free, they're open in Australia.
Yeah.
But you still
not
have
at
to.
First.
No, at
not
first.
them first 2 weeks.
They almost got
Hank. Not
they only got the
open
Hanks.
at all. You are going to a hotel and you can only open your door for food.
That's
and
it.
like
You cannot leave the hotel. You have to take.
I think they provide you with underwear and shit. Like, cause you can't do laundry.
Right. So I don't know. It's just weird that other countries similar to America and very nice countries that I'm sure are lovely to visit are taking it so seriously still, and they have extremely low COVID rates.
Mm-hmm. America thinks it's cool to live with a certain amount of mortality. Like they truly do. Like, well, that's a little risky, sugar.
Sturgis.
Yeah. Well, look, we're having a roast later. You might get shot. But that's just the price of the game, sugar. I was vindicated, but not even vindicated because I know it was a good idea, but it was validated. I don't know if you remember me saying that they should have a lottery for anyone who gets vaccinated, Powerball.
Yeah.
Ohio did it.
You know, I saw an interview with the governor of New Jersey, and he was asked, okay, well, how are you going to promote, your state has a low rate of vaccines.
Yeah.
And they have all these, it's embarrassing what they have to do. They have to make these sayings. They're not going to, they're making these sayings referring to like the Jersey Shore. You can't get at the shore. They're doing, I don't know, barbecues and meatball giveaway. I don't know what they're doing, but it's very silly. It's like, come to our fair.
Yeah. Like 60 to 70% of people said, anti-vax people said, oh, I'll do it for money.
Yeah.
Like they'll do it. They just want to, it's the thing I said a year ago. It's my brother, Tommy, saying I got to poo and do my laundry. They'll do it, but they just have to make you
so everyone receives
beg for it.
Everyone receives.
And it's federal COVID relief funds they're getting the money from. There's a weekly lottery starting May 26th.
Receive them. Oh my God.
For those 17 and younger who have gotten, that's going to be 17 and older. I don't think they want an 11-year-old getting $1 million. They'll receive for under 17, you get a full 4-year scholarship to State of Ohio University, which includes tuition, room and board, and books, DeWine and us. and
That's pretty
old
good.
people get $1 million to pay off the $400,000 you have in college loan debt. So
Do you think this is okay, good, or is it
good. It's like, what are people like? Money, let's do it. If I had a kid, I was gonna do a thing where just incentivize it. Get an A. In fact, I tried to work that out with my parents. Like, if I get A's, can I not pay for that class?
pay? What do you mean?
When I went to college.
You had to pay?
Yeah. They
Helps you.
Yeah. But I was like, could I not?
What did they say?
I don't remember. I did. It wouldn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah. But it would have worked in high school. If it was a good amount of money, because if you just people are incentivized by money, period. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
So with that in mind.
But isn't there a risk that if you incentivize everything with money, you're raising kind of an asshole?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, because I don't know.
Like
Does everyone
everything-
who work an asshole?
No.
Look at all these assholes going to work. You entitled motherfuckers.
No,
Sit and become a
that's
bad
not what I
boy.
mean. But some people,
You don't have Chappelle residuals like me, you fucking selfish bum.
some people just do things. I know people who will just help you out, and I know people who will like a free meal at the end of a help out.
Oh, you're mistaking helping someone move for
It's always
for
fucking-
college or for education. If education, you're trying to get smart so that you can get a good job. Period. That no one's doing it for I want knowledge. No one's at all. So they're not there for knowledge. They're there to seem smart, regurgitate shit for tests, and then get a job that pays over X amount of dollars. And so just start them early. Your job is to get A's. Period. And B's, you get subtract, and then you just make it. I think it would work. But what do I know? Just a
kidless, comic.
child-free, having a blast, loving every minute of it.
And there is no one that does it better.
I didn't love the cuts of all I needed was the cream of the crop. That's all we needed. And Wilden,
But the cream will rise to the top.
beautiful. That's all we needed.
That's good.
That's all we ever need.
Swing and a miss.
Now, Bill Gates. Did you see it?
Bill Gates. Wow. Who
Guys.
knew billionaires were dirtbags?
Who knew? I mean, at a certain point, it's what I was saying last week. These men do shit, men achieve shit and get money so that they can make women more attracted to them. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. We need a little more
Yeah,
on that because
'cause
it's
no
not clear. It
context.
just sounds like
Piano.
the train is leaving or something.
So you're driving along.
Yeah, there we go. So it's a syndicated story is what he's trying to get at.
I know.
We just need to acknowledge that that's why men do
Are
things.
you surprised?
Not even a little bit. I mean,
Really?
not
Bill
even a
Gates
little
looks
bit.
like he is not interested in other women. I don't know why.
Because women confuse attractiveness level with horniness. So he just doesn't wear it like a dirtbag.
Right.
And he's a dork. Doesn't mean he doesn't need to look, dorks need to ejaculate also. I'm trying to put this in as sexy way as possible. Dorks need to ejaculate too. The number 2. He needs sexual attention, he needs physical touch, he needs to ejaculate.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah, he needs words of affirmation. And he's so rich, and he's like solving malaria. Let the guy fuck around a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, we don't know. I mean, maybe it's like you
Yeah.
fucked around a lot, and
Right.
I asked, we had a talk.
Yes.
You said, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then you keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then I already suggested let's divorce. And you said, no, I won't do it anymore, baby. This is the last time. That was it.
Yeah.
And then you did,
Yes. But
guys can be
maybe,
crafty.
but probably not. Maybe. I mean,
know.
there was a story. First of all, anyone who thinks that he has any control over the world with microchips, look at the press he's getting. He can't even get a good fucking article written about him. Like Melinda is in charge of the press at this point. Melinda got there first or something, or like promised donations to these people, because this motherfucker is getting pummeled in the PR battle.
I know. It's very, but that goes to show, even if you do all these good things that Bill Gates has done, you're still a celebrity. It's the celebrity rules.
Yeah, but it's also, it's a little more fun because like that dork needs to ejaculate. Yep. And so I just think at it's
Like,
he's
who
fucking
tattled?
stupid for knowing. He's stupid for not realizing what he's like. These guys, because apparently he was hitting on women. He may have had a carve out in the relationship where he got to hang out with an old female friend of his once a year for like
Yeah, they
a
went
beach
on
trip.
vacation.
Yeah. So maybe that was the one he was allowed, and then the rest of them were a bridge too far. But just fellas, just admit, you can't get married hoping you're going to be a different person. Do you like ejaculating? I can't stop saying it. I love it.
No.
Do you like ejaculating? Is your wife going to support that amount of ejaculation? And and if she's yes, and if she's not, don't marry her. And I don't even know if Bill Gates has to fuck every day. Let's say he has to fuck every day. He's just like Greek, basically, like a Greek
These
or like a Puerto
visuals.
Rican.
Okay, a Greek.
I went double. I went Greek and Puerto Rican, so you can't really. It's not anything. And if Melinda liked fucking once a week, right? What should he be allowed to do? Because like you hear stories about Castro. Apparently, Castro fucked 2 different women every day. Every single day, they would deliver women to Castro.
And the
Google
previous day,
Castro sex.
and the previous day,
Were 2 other women, and the day before that, it was 2 other women before that, and 2 other women, and this is in GQ. He what did it say? He slept with 35,000 women. So
yeah, well,
now is that right? Yeah, 2 women a day, a lunch, dinner, and sometimes a breakfast. Sometimes he's like me,
Sometimes
not crazy about morning sex. So is that if there are 35,000 of those women were genuinely willing, what's the problem? Is there a problem?
I do. I'd love to ask him, was that fulfilling when you look back at it?
I'll answer for him. Yes. Yes. If you don't believe in romantic, this idea of fidelity, and this is coming from old jealous guys.
JJ. Go ahead. Sorry.
What do you, it's that, here's the thing about guys. Bill Gates would do that too if he could.
100%.
I would do
think
it.
more.
Most guys would do that if they could.
Question.
And women know this and still
A lot of women
choose.
don't think that. I think we have the notion that, hey, guys will cheat, guys will seek other partners at some point or whatever. But I don't think women know that. That's extreme.
Women know that.
I don't think women know that guys have the desire
I
to
had
fuck
another
2
thought.
different
You know,
women.
the thing where will you look up if men knew about women, the world would split in 2. Very good. This is going to be worth it.
Good job.
It's an old quote.
You didn't even make a typo. That was good.
Yeah, right there. It's Muriel Rukeyser. What would happen if one woman told the truth about her life? The world would split open.
It's not the same.
The same. No. Same as what? It's the same thing. The same thing would happen if women know what, to your point that you made before, that if it's the amount and the scenario of sex that is so troubling about guys.
Right. The amount.
It's like if women knew, the world would split open.
I think, like, take the hottest men right now, celebrity-wise.
Mm-hmm.
If we could just scroll through all the people they fucked, just photos of them, we would think something was wrong with them. Her?
Oh, yeah.
You fucked her?
Yeah.
Like, Brad Pitt has fucked unattractive women.
5s. 4s. On the road. On location.
And so we just have a very weird version of each other, in our heads.
Yeah.
You always think women are these ethereal
angels, yeah.
How dare you? No, we are incapable of doing anything. And women think, I don't know, we accept a beast mode out of guys, but I don't think we know the perversion and I don't think we realize how perverted guys are.
Like when I saw that he hung out with Epstein, I was like, I get that. I get that if you're him, Epstein is fascinating.
Yeah, he's a little cool, even though he's a dork.
I've told you that, when married guys be like, who are you with right now? Are you,
like,
what are you
whisper.
doing? Like they're fucking prisoners.
Yeah, it's like
So what are you, just give me one story.
Really?
Yes.
That's so gross.
Yeah, like, come on, show me a picture.
Okay, do you think that is because, okay, well, here's the thing. What if the wife is nice and she's happy and she wants to fuck you? Is it because the monotony of one vagina and one person, or is it that person grows to not want to fuck you as much?
That's probably the biggest issue.
Which
one? She doesn't want to fuck you anymore. Or the thing that you need to do for her to want to fuck you is like, I go to work, I got us a house, and now that's just the beginning.
Right.
Now I have to add this like additional level of like, also.
Everyone does quickies, Neal. Come on.
No.
I feel like married people have pretty not romance sex, pretty like, let's do
Ejaculatory? Yes, but the amount that men need to ejaculate more is more than women. So women only need to squirt so often.
Let's not bring that up. Touchy subject.
Sorry.
What amount of your ejaculation is my problem, and what amount of your ejaculation
I love the category.
is your problem? Because not your needs don't have to be met 100% all the time. I mean, that's a brat.
Right. So what do I do with my needs?
Well, what part of your needs is you being a?
I don't know. I know. But let's say I just like I want to have an orgasm, ejaculate. We call it. I need to ejaculate once a day.
Okay.
There aren't too many wives who are gonna support that. So, what are you going to support in terms of masturbation? And what are you going to support in terms of feeling my need to feel desired? Because women also feel a need to be desired.
Right.
So,
question: if let's say, do you think a guy, let's say 4 days are met, and you have 3 days of on your own ejaculatory?
First of all, you bitch. Go ahead. I'm on my own.
You're on your own for 3 days of your ejaculation, and I got you for 4.
BYOE, bring your own ejaculation. Go ahead.
What is that fair? Or do you think that it's like I should get it?
The market. My guess is the marriage market. If you could find a wife who was legitimately gonna help you have an orgasm, help you ejaculate, 4 days a week, that would be top of the market.
Really?
I believe that would be absolute tippy top.
That's A5 Wagyu?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what? I feel like married people fuck a lot.
What? No, they don't fuck a lot at all. I mean, I hear guys say it's a nightmare. Romano used to do a joke about that when his
That's a
wife,
nightmare.
when him and his wife had sex, he knew it was time to do his quarterly taxes.
No.
And when she went down on him, he knew it was time to renew his driver's license.
Dude, that's
It's
very
a
funny.
great joke.
It's very funny.
And it's absolutely true. It will work every night somehow.
Somehow.
Despite the fact that married people out here fucking a lot, they were doing it every night. They'll fuck a lot when she wants to have a baby, because then it's about servicing her needs. But when it's about his disgusting, filthy needs, get the fuck out of here.
And then sometimes in relationships, the girl really wants to have sex and the guy doesn't want it. That happens often,
that
too.
happens also.
No,
I think
no thoughts on that?
No, moving on. Well, it would have been nice to play the
Right,
song,
well,
but
come
whatever. In post, I'm sure you'll.
In post,
I'm sure you'll. Yeah, you didn't bring it in that. That's a post machine. You have that on the other machine. Yeah. Yeah, that is, I think, rarer. And I think part of it is, guys, it's that thing of, I don't want to have to do all the stuff to make you want to have sex with me. If women want the ceremony, often, but I don't think guys want to give the ceremony.
Interesting.
And also, if you're living in a business relationship where it's just nothing but contempt, it's like,
Yeah, that
okay,
it's
what are we
hostile.
doing?
Right.
Okay, now I'm fucking. Where are you laying down? Where are we doing the husbandry today?
You know what I think? I think at different power levels, because I don't think a traditional monogamous relationship with wife, kids, house, vacations, blah, blah, I don't think that works for a billionaire. It just doesn't
Why not?
seem, because
I'll
his-
answer,
I
because it
just
doesn't
feel-
have to.
Well, yeah, but it also just seems like his world's so much bigger than this. This is my house, my family. I come home, chill. I think at different power levels, you might need different family structures or relationship
but
structures.
they don't. But we're talking about this later. Kobe's wife dedicated part of her speech about how she would never compliment him and bring him down to earth. Like, again, ugh. Why would you want to be in a relationship where you're in charge of bringing somebody down to earth? Because Kobe was in that Bill Gates level. And we won't go any further about that. But it seems like she wanted to live in a world of, Michelle Obama said that about Barack on 60 Minutes. It disgusted me when she said it. My job is to bring him back down to earth. What a horrible job. It's a horrible, so you're a full-time hater?
That's really funny.
That's basically
it's
what she said. I have a joke that I would never work, but women only say nice stuff about their husband if he gets assassinated. And until then, it's just like, nah, he's fine. It's fine. Oh, this idiot. Just like, again, and I don't think guys are in any way good partners to women either. So I agree with you that you should be. I think it's at a certain point. What's the number, though?
The problem is that billionaire single guys are, I see them on dating apps.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? It's like they also want these celebrity guys. They also want some part of this traditional structure too.
The guys?
The guys that don't, single, famous, and wealthy.
Yeah, but because it's never,
Why are you coming to the thing that you feel trapped by?
in the age of Me Too, I don't think they're looking for marriage between you and me.
I don't think anybody, I don't think they're getting on the app to be like, I gotta marry a broad. I just think they're coming to date not famous people.
Yeah. Who else are they going to date?
No, I'm just saying they're coming on an app to date women
They're
in a traditional
yes.
structure. You could just they could fuck 2 girls a day. They don't need to go on an app.
There is no app for that. By the way, they're on Riot to fuck 2 girls a day.
It was Ben Affleck. If someone just if you really want a disconnected type
If he
of
could,
fucking,
yeah.
Yeah, but I find it
can't-
hard to not to if you want to fuck 2 girls a day. I mean, those aren't. That's not like a fun girl you hang out with. I mean, that's a call girl.
Yeah. That's what Castro had.
That's what Castro had. So if you want that, you can get that. You don't need to go to Riot for that and go, oh, she unfollowed me. Let me go find her
I think
Instagram.
guys would like to do it with human women
Sure.
in a way that they want, which is dating as many women as I can possibly date with as few attachments as possible. Guys are
like-
real hypocrites because
That's what I'm saying.
guys want girls to want them. Or guys want girls to miss them, think about them, care
have
about
those
them.
organic
Have
feelings towards them.
that dumb, all the shit that we're like, you need to chill out.
Right.
We also, if it's not there, it's like,
If
like,
it's
what is happening?
if it's as transactional as they want it in their mind, like no strings attached, da, da, da,
Yeah.
there's gonna be something they yearn for. There's gonna be something missing. You know what I mean?
They want it both ways.
We figured it out, you guys. Last
you gotta
episode.
marry somebody, start a foundation, and have sex with 2 call girls a day. Solved
Good
it.
luck.
Prenup. Hello, lawyer. Hello, law. It's Neal. I got an idea to put in the prenups.
Silly.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoy watching Bill Gates.
It's crumble.
Not crumble. I just enjoy
PR-wise.
watching like it's everyone. It is every guy in the world is like this. There's no, even that fucking nerd who has no business asking a woman for anything is saying, I'm trying to fuck.
It doesn't matter the power levels, doesn't matter the bank account.
Does not fucking matter.
You guys are animals.
We just want, it's why we're here.
Animals.
The indomitable spirit of horny men. Anyhow, you know what's interesting? There was an election post-mortem about the what actually happened in the election in terms of demographically, and there's a lot of surprises. Not a lot of surprises. Scroll down, Will. Most diverse election ever. It was on Catalyst.com.
How do they know what race someone is or ethnicity?
Because they fill it out. You fill it out on your thing.
I think you say other.
Oof, tell me about it.
Shut up.
You may, well, that's why there's like non-Latino, there's all kinds of weird categories. Electorate was 72% white, which is so crazy. You just forget how many white people are in America.
You really do. And
It's
white
in New York and
people
LA,
forget.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't realize how much of a majority they have in this country.
Because the Asians are breathing down our necks. Can't get any space out here. 72% white. That's the electorate. Those are the people that voted.
Right.
That's 72% white compared to 74% white in 2016 and 77% white in 2008.
Dang.
So we are
apartheid
being
out here.
replaced. Make no mistake. The college degree thing is where the Biden ticket benefited from a diverse set of supporters. 39% of their coalition were voters of color, and the remaining 61% were split fairly even between white voters with and without a college degree. I could look at this shit all day.
Yeah.
The Trump-Pence ticket was more homogenous, with nearly 60% of their votes coming from from white non-college voters.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
60% of their votes came from white non-college voters. I want to do an accent right now. Do you think it's from the North or the South? Republicans, Latino voters continue to favor Democrats, but Republicans did a little better. 61% voted for Biden, and that's down from, it's kind of confusing, but it's a little down. Keep going. Black vote turnout increased substantially, resulting in significant gains for Democrats, despite a modest overall drop in Democratic support levels. So more black people voted, but more black people voted Republican than they did last time. 7% more, I believe. 3%. I'm sorry, 3%. 3% more swung toward Trump. So it's a net gain,
Right.
Because it's like 3%. It's probably total 9%. Asian American Pacific Islanders were good for Democrats. Urban rural voting divide continues to be immensely important. Suburbs growing more Democratic and more racially diverse. Women remain critical to Democrats. Young voters. This is a crazy one. Millennials and Gen Z now account for 31% of voters.
Yay. I like them. Well,
Yeah.
Gen Z. I like Gen Z.
Millennials sucking from the back, obviously. New voters made a big difference in Sunbelt swing states. 29% were new. And there's still millions of non-voters who, I mean, there's so many people that don't vote. It's kind of
because a person is seen
stupid. Why would I wear a mask? You don't gotta vote. The mask thing is like when people have stickers on and the I voted stickers, and you're like, stop patting yourself on the back. Are you safe? That's the mask condescension. Increase in votes by race. The thing that was in here, the white men moved from Trump to Biden, 7%, which made all the difference.
Thank you.
We did it again, white men. Ha ha ha. Science, and now this. Actually, it was the Egyptians who made science. Anyhow, insurrection. Remember January 6th?
Do I?
I got hit in that. I got punched in the face.
Like a pizza. So this guy said that they were just regular tourists.
Oh, yeah. Most of the people there were tourists. Yeah.
Most people there were tourists. And he said, I should know. I was one of the people barricading the door.
From the tourists. You know how tourists get. I can't tell you how many times I barricaded doors from tourists at like the Comedy Store. There'll be hordes of tourists.
Can you imagine?
One of them will jump in, a woman, she'll get shot. Like tourists.
Tourists.
Like tourists. Well, they'll take a thing, they'll take an ashtray and use that to break the giant window, like a tourist does. This guy actually was in a bank one time, and a bunch of robbers came in, and he goes, "Oh, they must be scouting a location. These are location scouters here to see if they can film something in the bank." And then there was a shootout, and he said, "Oh, now they're doing a ballistics test." So I could go on with these, but I think that's enough for now. It reminds me of an old joke from Dave Attell, which is a guy said, "I didn't stab him. He fell on my knife."
Right.
And let's just say that night he backed into a couple of dicks. Now, these people,
I don't get the line. I hate to use this word, but the gaslighting. I don't like the word gaslighting. I think it's used improperly, and it's just bad, annoying buzzword. But but this feels like gaslighting. It's like, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
No, they were tourists. What? No, they were. It was fine. I'm like, it has to be beneficial some way.
They're just gonna lie because telling the truth will get them Liz Cheney'd. So they have to lie. That's a very clear thing. If you don't lie, you are going to lose your power, and you'll get primaried and. So they all have to. So people who watch OWN and Fox and all that shit, Fox News, it's the skinny mirror. It doesn't even matter what these guys do. All they have to do is be on TV saying something. It truly does not matter how they voted. It's what are you saying on the TV show that these people are watching?
Right.
That's it. It's a TV. They don't even really care if they see, because how often does the government do something that affects you? So if it's rare as far as I'm concerned. And so but I am watching this TV show where the other side are baby eaters or whatever. And this is a primal battle. And this guy's on our side and he's lying on TV. They're taking credit for shit they voted against.
Right.
Like they just have to go on. It's about the TV show. It does not matter how they vote. I truly believe it does not. Like Liz Cheney voted with Trump 94% of the time. It doesn't matter.
That's the thing.
She went on the TV show and said the wrong thing. So you're gone.
And it doesn't seem like Republicans who go against this kind of like basically with the GOP sticking by Trump. So any Republicans who go against him are becoming unpopular.
They're not only they're worse than unpopular. They're done.
Well, they're done, but I feel like Mitt Romney is
Right. Well, he can because his state is so they were never for Trump. So they were the only they almost voted against him. In the first election they were like he barely won Utah if at all.
right.
But there are a lot of people who they're fucked. Frank Luntz was on somebody's show. Frank Luntz, the guy with the toupee and who's the focus group guy. Yeah. And he said, in order to win local elections, House elections, you have to be pro-Trump. But in order to win a national election, you cannot be pro-Trump.
It's so weird.
So they have if Trump doesn't run for president, the primary is going to be spent saying how much they love him, and then the main election will be spent going like, it's there. We see eye to eye on most things,
Right.
but I gotta say, and then they'll just spin it to where they'll just distance themselves from. I'm my own president. This is not President Trump too. This is.
It's just no one's going out like usually when you go against the bad guy, quote unquote, you end up looking a bit more heroic. I mean, it's just like,
there's no one to applaud her.
Because you voted with Trump. So on the left, it's like, I don't have much sympathy for Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
And on the right, you went against the order.
Yep.
So
there's no benefit. This is where you just have to be a psycho.
So sketch writing and
sketch writing, you got to pick Maniac. And if you're going to run for any of this shit, you got to, if you want to have ethics now are bad for business. I mean, for the most part. Of course, you can, only if that's your whole thing.
Right.
We're ethical and we like to recycle. Anyhow, so that's pretty great. And then the pipeline, did you understand the pipeline thing?
I understood it. So basically, we've been susceptible, like American Critical Resources have been susceptible to, I think they thought like state-backed political attacks, but now there's a lot of hackers that are just for profit.
And some of them are going to be working for the state also. I think it's like both.
Yeah, they're not, but it's just more just like, give us money or we'll do this, as opposed to just fucking up your situation. So this one was a for-profit one. And that's the reason why gas is expensive.
I wouldn't know.
I know, you little electricity. But it's wild that it just feels like a 90s action show. Like some, I don't know.
Hans
Trula.
Gruber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
Attack the pipeline.
Yeah, and
It's like, no gas.
Yeah.
Gas shortage. Crazy
Yeah.
people filling up gas with plastic bags for some reason. So I
heard Bill Gates was out ejaculating in gas tanks. That's the guy needs to ejaculate, and he's gonna any hole he can get to, he will use. So, and it was leaded. Weirdly enough, his
leaded.
ejaculation had lead in it. So, and it was diesel, which I don't understand. These rich people really do have it different.
You know what I thought though about this story is it's just a pipe that brings. It's so much more. It's less complicated than you think. It's a pipeline where the gasoline is going 5 miles an hour.
Yeah. I mean, when you really think about most things, it's so basic.
You would think, end of the world movies where they have these screens up and the like war room is so technologically advanced. And then
you're using like pieces of wood,
Right.
like the old subway, like taking of the Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And then when you look at it, it's like, oh, it's just a pipe that.
Yep. It's a tube. And then it kind of runs downhill.
Yeah, they do
and
it.
Sometimes we have to pump it up.
Then it gets to the East Coast.
What's a dam? It's we
Just like-
put a giant wall up so water can't get through.
it's like,
What is hydroelectric? The wall we put a rotor in, and then. By the way, this is a side note that I've been meaning to get to. Thank you for bringing it up.
you're welcome.
I think wind power turbines are cool looking. Remember how Trump would be like, they're an eyesore? I think they just look like art to me. They
No,
look
they're
like
cool.
giant installation
They're
art.
scary, kind of, when you go up close.
Yeah, when you go close, they're very like serious. But those, I've never seen a picture of wind turbines and been like, ugh. They look cool as shit. That's one of those things where they go, they're loud and they're an eyesore. They look cool.
They're not loud.
Well, that was Trump's thing. It's like, you can't hear. They
Oh.
give cancer.
Me and my friend went on a road trip and we went to the wind farm next to Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. Honestly, it was really interesting to be that close to it, but there was a lot of broken ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Don't get
Look,
too
it's not
close.
perfect.
it's not.
It's not a perfect system. But it's pretty cool. I didn't say that, and they never are broken. And they're cool looking, and they never once have they ever broken. Wind turbines. I'm Neal Bianca. So just stop using gas if you can. Just get an electric car like me, and there'll be incentives soon, and it'll be the only kind of car you can really get at.
In California.
Yeah, no. If you look at the long term, everywhere in America, like you're
Cool.
just not.
Awesome.
There's not going to be a thing, which is I'm very excited about. But there are dumb guys who are like, I just need that. They're not even dumb. It's some of my favorite people in the world. Like I need the roar of the engine. Like idiot. How about your phone? Do you need a gang? Like nah, I can't. Just electricity doesn't do it for me. Anyhow, Kobe got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
He did. Now I'm not a basketball gal, but I thought he would have already been there.
They have a thing where you have to not be active for a certain amount of years.
Oh, and then you qualify.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch?
I did watch it and regretted it
Why?
because Tim Duncan's speech I liked, but that was about it in terms of the speech I liked. I don't want to get into the ones I didn't like. I will say, listening to Vanessa's speech, there's a whole thing about Kobe's parents, and she like mentioned like I invited them. There was like a whole thing where I was like, this is damage control, and then I saw today that they weren't invited, and it's just I don't know if I said this on here, but family. You know when they're like it's a TV show, it's a family drama. You can't even do a show about actual family drama.
No.
Because it's so dark and so painful
Right.
that you can't even cover it, most of it.
You can't.
You literally can't cover it. Because you know what? You know why else it wouldn't be a good show? Because it never gets resolved.
Right.
It just
Do you like Succession?
decades, 2 decades, 3 decades. I haven't watched it, but that's
obviously
an office power thing. That's like that. You can plot that. You can't plot something. They were gonna sell Kobe's trophies at one point because it was like, and part of it was kind of like some funny mom shit where he was keeping trophies there and he wouldn't take them. And then the mom was like, I'm auctioning them off.
Did she?
They worked something out. But you can't with the families.
Right.
Literally cannot plot it because it's too crazy.
There's tension. Was there always tension between Kobe and his family? Right?
His parents it seems like I don't know what they look like. So that seems bad. Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen videos of the dad, but I've never seen, like, I don't know, didn't know that's what his dad looked like at all. Like at all. Didn't know that. Looks like an IT guy.
He does look like
Oh, there he is. All right. So maybe they were around more than I just didn't know, or they didn't want press or whatever.
I just thought that there was a weird thing with his dad and they didn't talk for a long time. And then, oh yeah, Mita.
Finances. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Challenges of mixing blood with business, as well as anger, resentment, and jealousy that this may lead to.
Oh yeah, right there.
Right. There you go.
You know how many
There you go.
examples are in that?
Not
Anger,
resolvable.
resentment and jealousy.
Yeah.
There's 100 stories.
Yes. How much money do you, the stories I've heard from just like people I know that are like normal rich with family and, but this is, it's not solvable. It's not even solvable. You can't plot it. You can't even talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
It's too upsetting. Most family problems are too upsetting to even talk about.
Right. And then when you do, a lot of them from the outside perspective don't seem that big of a deal.
You weren't fucking there.
Right.
You didn't know her tone. Yeah, it's also, you can't explain the whole entirety of the relationship.
And you need it kind of, that's why siblings are good to vent to.
About mom or about
yeah, about
anything?
mom, dad.
Yeah, of course. But they don't always agree.
Oh no, they definitely don't. Sometimes they make it worse.
Yeah, and sometimes they might leak it.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
There was a press leak.
Yep, little press leak, little Bill Gates's Melinda Gates, Melinda French Gates. That's what that's her old name. So now she's in every article. It's Melinda French Gates, which if you were so French,
hilarious.
let your husband fuck on the side. You know what I mean, lady? You know what I mean?
Neal, that one was perfect.
There was a good one and a bad one at the same time.
I said
but it's
I want to fuck her. I
I
want to fuck her.
want to fuck her.
Do you see this story?
What?
Anybody see this?
Anybody see this
Oh
story?
yeah.
Anybody see this story? I gotta remember the name of this.
I know.
Did you see Soya?
Anybody see
Look up
this?
Soya motorcycle, Will. It's a fun one.
Soya. Oh, I like it.
It's a female biker who started posting on TikTok and IG. Was not a woman. It was a guy who was just face tuning
Wait, show
himself.
his
I think
people are mad.
this guy's fucking really good at Facetune.
Oh, she's so cute.
But then people started, we're just looking at pictures and not saying what's
you're
happening.
not saying so.
All right, so this guy was retired and kids are adults. He's only 50, so so he started just riding. He's like a big motorcycle. He's got like 8 motorcycles or something. Riding around, no followers on any platform, and was like, he posted one thing. It was like sad. It got like 8 likes or followers. And so then he just started face-tuning himself into a beautiful woman and started getting a lot of traction as a hot woman who's into motorcycles.
Right.
So guys are like, oh, you're perfect. And then eventually he said like, hey, he gave up the ghost, as it were, and came forward. And then people were like, I still like you.
Oh, that's lovely.
Is it?
Well, he gave it up on his own. It's not like he got discovered.
I get it. No, I'm not saying it like but I'm just wondering, for all the talk of
what?
This is that joke I have done about how people don't like writers.
Yeah.
If the cast of Friends was downstairs or the writers from Friends were downstairs, it's a very different level of aggression getting downstairs.
I like writers. I remember my friend went to AFI, and I remember this one year he invited me to all the parties. And I also went
The
to
award show parties?
No, just the AFI, like
School
the
parties?
faculty,
Got
like
it.
there's just Christmas parties. And then I went to some of my actor friends who are on TV shows, like active actor friend parties. And we hit up a bunch of parties this one weekend. And the writer parties were infinitely more fun.
Interesting. I wouldn't say that they're more, I don't know writers to be more fun.
Then actors?
Yeah.
Well, they just felt
I'd say more interesting, obviously, and more engaging conversational.
they just felt looser and not performative and not
Yeah.
there wasn't a show.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I don't know, might get canceled, but whatever, let's have a shot.
Yeah.
Like everything was really casual.
Yeah.
And the other ones were very like, oh my God, welcome.
Oh my God.
So tell me about
Yeah.
that. Like a lot more bullshit talk
Yeah.
at one than the other. So
So they
Like writers.
claim, I mean, I guess it's cute that this older guy wanted
It's
to
the
be
context that's
like
cute.
liked.
Yeah.
So then, and also they're assholes and they're like, I was only in this for the face, the smooth face, and the idea of my prediction is he just loses followers.
yeah, he's gonna lose that for
He
sure.
just loses followers steadily.
Yeah.
It's like just steadily over time. You can't leave immediately.
No, but like, I don't know.
It's like when a girl or a guy,
looking
you're
for a
talking to
hot
a
girl.
girl or a guy and they say they have a boyfriend or girlfriend. And you're just like, you can't go like, time's up. So you have to be like, yeah, interesting. So one more question.
Right.
Then I'm going to pretend that that's not totally life-changing information for me. And then I'll get out of here.
That's that happened. I was like a few times when I was on dating apps. The chatting, let's grab a drink. Da, da, da. I always do a deep dive if I can find it, just to make sure. Every time. Like, are you in a relationship? Yeah, but it's an open thing. Like, I'm allowed to, like, it's like,
It's open in that I saw an opening to cheat on her and I took it.
I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like closed-minded saying, well, I'm not going to fucking go on a date with you if you have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you have to do the slow.
You won't say no. You won't just say that's a red line for me.
I do say no, but it's very hard for me. I feel extremely. I feel like I'm going against it's his choice. It's not my problem. It's not. I'm not cheating
Yeah,
on me.
yeah.
He said it's open. I don't know. I feel like these days you have to be open-minded about all forms of relationships. And when I'm not,
black and white love. I'll never be open about that.
Neal loves this world.
Yeah.
You know, like I've.
But you know what's a good thing to think of in those situations is if I say that that's a red line for me and end this, it'll be awkward, and then in 90 seconds, it will be. My life will be better.
That's good. I'm gonna remember that because I feel
Literally
I get very
90
bad
seconds of discomfort, and then it's over. Just start a clock. Literally get a stopwatch and go boop. Start it and go. That's a red line for me. Nice meeting you. Thumbs up emoji, and then whatever they say.
Yeah.
Now, can I accuse you of something?
Please.
Liking the attention.
Of what?
A guy being interested in you, having a girlfriend. Then you have a choice to make, which is like, do I keep accepting this attention? Or if I draw a red line, no more attention.
No. I don't at me, y'all. I think it's kind of weird. So it made me
What?
uncomfortable.
The
Open
dating?
relationships.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like, ooh, I didn't want his attention anymore.
Oh,
He
okay.
made me uncomfortable.
Oh, then the red line at 90 says start the clock.
I'm just gonna text you. I'm like,
Red line it. I didn't mean it. I need a red line. Oh, this is a useless observation. You ready?
come on. The last one's so funny.
You may have no idea what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I don't like when someone's very old in show business and they kind of trot them out, and it's the same way they treat little kids. And there's something about it that just bums me out so deeply. Like the most recent one was Norman. Well, look up Dick Van Dyke, because Dick Van Dyke, there's like a picture of him like still on some like whoop-de-doo shit. And he's It was in the
Whoop-de-doo
Washington
shit.
Post, I believe. But just this like, yeah, there you go, top left. But like, boy,
It's Dick Van Dyke.
look
with his
at me,
feet up,
Ma.
looking jovial.
Yeah,
But-
he's like in a chair.
Like a-
There's like a thing
Someone
of
threw out a chair
can
and it's
you-
on the street.
yeah. Can you? And he's got a cane and he's kind of like on some whoop-de-doo shit. There's no other way to put it.
Whoop-de-doo shit is
Ejaculate
so good.
whoop-de-doo shit. And I don't like it. The guy he just died this week. He was in Trainwreck. He was in a train wreck and died. No, he was in the movie Trainwreck. His name's Norman something. Norman Lloyd. Yes. But the pictures of him, if you look at Norman Lloyd images, even those are a bit like, that's actually old man.
That's cool.
That's old man with gravitas. Some of them are like, well, like a little dancey. I can't explain.
Yeah.
The one with the tennis racket. You ain't. It's like what you do to a dog or a little kid.
Yeah. It
and
looks like
it's
a dog's
so-
outfit.
It's wrong. It's like wrong of the press people to. It's something. It's just wrong. Like Johnny Carson did it perfectly.
Right.
Goodbye. You'll never see me again.
Right.
And there was one photo of him from like a long telephoto lens.
Where he was just
Where
someone
he's in a
intruded
boat.
on
He's just
him.
fucking on him by himself on a boat. It's a bad picture, but he didn't want it out
Find
there.
it.
That's actually not a bad picture.
He looks good.
There was one where he kind of gained weight and he just looked like
no.
infirmed. And I'm not saying it like, hey, get out of here. Would you get lost with your gross aging? But I don't like when they there's something like old minstrelly about it.
Yeah. And
like-
also, you don't want that to happen to you.
He looks like it's like Weekend at Bernie's kind of.
Yeah.
Where they're it's like he looks like a stuffed, like he's been taxidermied.
What are you going to do when you're older and people want to write? Or, you're in the entertainment
You just
industry.
say
with
no
whatever.
thanks. Because at a certain point, what are you getting? New fans? What do you
New fans.
people know about me. If you're that level of famous, people know about you, and I won't even get into some of Morgan Freeman's choices. Like where he's on people's albums now. You're like, no, man. Like I like that he
What
did all
album
the
is he on?
voiceover for Dave. He's on like
Oh, yeah, that's good for Dave.
He's on the
Album.
21
Oh.
Savage. That's exactly right. He's on 21 Savage's album,
Will
which is like,
knew.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
I just don't think I would have done it. I wouldn't have advised him to do it. I don't know. I don't like that he does Discovery Channel shit. There's just certain shit that like, nah, man, you're James Earl Jones.
Right.
Like, just you do CNN and and Simba. You do Simba, CNN, and the Coming to America.
Right.
That's your list.
You don't want any more James Earl Jones?
He died.
When did he die?
He died, didn't he?
James Earl Jones died? No, he didn't. The hell, Neal?
No, I'm telling you, I'm gonna murder him.
Okay, it was like he died.
Well, no,
He
he
just was in a movie.
Didn't he? Just wasn't he in? It
Yeah,
was.
he was in
He
it.
was very sick when they were filming. I know that.
Oh, that's awful. No, please.
So something to think
If he
about.
dies tomorrow, I'll be very upset.
Just
with
be
you.
like regal, is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and not let people kind of clown you. Like,
Yeah.
hold this tennis racket as if you could play tennis. It's like, fuck you. Anyhow, do you?
Neal's an old people defender. I love it.
You like the documentaries? Hey, dog, you like documentaries? Do you watch Crime of the Century?
No, I didn't, but I'm very excited to. Like that was one I got
Yeah,
excited to watch.
it's good. Alex Gibney,
is?
clean, laid out well, clever editing, and the story is so.
Tell the people.
It's about Merck, and I think it's Merck. Actually, it's not. It's the Sackler family who owned the company that sold Oxycontin.
Yeah.
And
Is it
It's-
episodic?
It's 2 parts. So
Three? I was three.
I only know of 2. So it's just atrocious. It made me think of what would have been probably a funny sketch if, in order to get away with selling drugs, you just have to have a pharmacy jacket. But if there were just guys selling crack wearing the pharmacist jackets, like on the corner,
Right.
It's just so awful.
I heard they call them pillbillies.
Yeah, Pillbillies is a big one.
That's
Yeah,
fucked.
that's a good one. I do love a good pun.
Yeah, it was.
Pillbillies was there was also there was another one, but just crime, lying under oath criminals, and then politicians bought off to not legislate it or not prosecute them, and they just got away with it. Billions of dollars. They're now getting sued, but even the suit that the Sacklers are getting hit with now is like they're gonna be fine. They made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Their wives are gonna let them fuck on the side. That's how well they did with this drug. But it also shows you like what guys will go to just get a bunch of money. Just lying and killing people.
Yeah.
Killing people. They did the hack on OxyContin was smash it, because it was long time release, and so there's a coating on the pill.
Right.
Smash it, the coating's gone. You can get a giant dose of an amazing opiate. Why would anyone not do that? And then part 2 is about fentanyl, and which is 1,000 times more powerful than morphine.
Damn.
It's crazy. So 500,000 people have died from that in the last 20 years, including Prince and you know, people that you value. People that people value.
Not just pillbillies.
Not just pillbillies.
Do you think, I know per your friend that wrote the book about doing drugs and stuff, but do they talk about is it that we have something in us that gets addicted to the numbing of it, or are they, is it chemically addictive?
A lot of people start with actual pain,
Right.
and then they're just addicted. There's a story of a woman. There's photographs of her. I mean, remember, I forgot a lot of these pictures, but like there were the national story where there'll be 2 parents passed out in the front seat,
Yeah,
and
the
little
front seat
kids
and
in
the
the
little
back, and that's, I don't know if that's fentanyl or oxy, but there's a woman who they follow, who her husband would take pictures of her. She would just like pass out from overdosing but not dying.
Right.
And it's just so grim. And the doctor, they focus on one doctor who 100 people died in his care. And nothing happened to him. Just fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
So it's really good. Crime of the Century.
Okay.
I highly advise it. I didn't blow anything. Hit it, Will.
It's time to check that email.
Oh yeah, we got some songs. We got a new theme song, which is kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a little acousticy or something, or it's like very heartfelt.
You already know what it is. You're fucking with, how do you feel? You're fucking with, how do you feel? Why? You're fucking with, how do you feel?
You know what I realized? Great vocals. Take the vocals, replace the piano. The piano doesn't quite, to me, doesn't get there. That's why it's going to be a no for me, dog. No, I'm kidding. No, I love it, of course.
Yeah, it's great.
I see if you can do something with the piano.
What would you do?
I don't know. It's something.
Okay.
Something.
Something.
Don't know. Listen to me and Levine's music podcast. We'll talk all about it.
Oh, great.
Do we have anybody else?
A new Chappelle Story song.
Great. He edited?
I think it's a different.
Oh, a different Chappelle Story
Okay.
song.
A Dave Chappelle Story by Neal.
That's pretty good.
Great. Beautiful.
That's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, sir. Who was that? Louis Espinoza.
The first one.
Oh, no. Louis Espinoza was the song. And Justin Smith. Thank you, Justin Smith. And thank you, Louis Espinoza. Anybody else? Oh, now we have audio and video. Keep sending in the audio. They're better. And video.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
This is Rocco, your bipolar correspondent.
Yay.
Is directed by the Spirit Padre. I tried holotropic breathing last night for about 5 minutes, and it was weird. It kind of felt like I was like waterboarding myself or something. It wasn't a pleasant experience, but I gather that ayahuasca is not really supposed to be fun for anybody. It's about personal growth. I did it for, like I said, about 5 minutes. If I'd done it for longer, maybe I would have seen the face of the infinite or touched the hand of the cosmos. And maybe that would long-term lead me to developing some sort of a sense of equipoise about the nature of mortality. As it is, I think I will just take your word for it.
Say what you want about bipolar people. They're almost universally intelligent. That guy's a smart dude.
Yeah, he's
it's not a 5 minute thing. It's like a half hour minimum. But also, please be careful. It's just a thing I heard about. I did it once. There are classes and stuff you can do, but please don't hurt yourself. The podcast is great.
Right. We are not liable for any
Grab
of our
ass.
advice.
Please don't do anything because I heard of it.
Right. But the good thing is, I feel like deep breathing is pretty harmless.
It's not deep breathing. It's hyperventilating.
Oh, it's like the...
Yeah, by design. And you just do it for a long time. And then it fucks with your chemicals and that's what happens.
Don't do it, you guys.
Yeah, so you can do it. People do it and
People
really
do a lot
like
of
it.
breath work.
Yeah,
Same.
but it's not the same thing as the...
Oh, because I said breath work and you're like, yeah, this breathing
it's
last
not
time.
exactly... It is technically breath work, but it's
Right.
not breath work as it's understood.
As-
Holotropic breathing is its own thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Have you done breath work?
Well, I was breathing on my stomach. This week, I'm redesigning my walk. I was wearing knee pads before
You
you
gonna
got
get a
here.
limp?
No, but my legs are too straight.
How do you walk?
Generally. It's funny. The guy's like, you got to change this. So I got knee
Gotta
pads.
change that walk,
I don't twist my hips enough.
Wait, well, don't
It's
go and
very,
twisting
you should
your
follow my
hips.
motorcycle blog. No, I don't, you'll see. There's no, I'm going to unveil it.
You'll see.
But I don't bend my knees
You'll
enough.
see.
I don't have good balance because I don't bend my knees enough. So not like I'm off balance.
You're like
but,
the Tin Man?
But I can be better.
I don't know what you look like when you walk. Now I think about it.
Now you're gonna be like, walk again.
Walk? Do it
Come
again.
over. Walk.
Walk.
I want to hear it.
I want to hear it.
Yeah. So I'm always rebuilding everything all the time. Anything
Goodbye.
else?
You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Billy Binks, for all those Tybo fans, Tuesday listener, Thursday watcher. Congress continues to spend trillions of dollars on defense, and some of that money seems severely mismanaged. So, if you could break off a piece of that budget, what would you do with it? I think it'd be really cool to support government research. You know, we got the internet, helped out with the COVID vaccine. It looks like we might get an HIV vaccine out of it. So, how HowNealFeel? What does Binks think?
What should we do with government? Taxpayer dollar mostly goes to military,
Defense,
or like disproportionately. What should it go to? The arts. I'm kidding. The jazz. No, it should go to education and poverty, and That's kind of all I would want.
Yeah, poverty.
And climate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, not like. I like how Republicans think they won't benefit from any of this. I know. It's like the wave isn't going to go, oh, you're the giant wave that's going to come.
Right.
Or
they're like, socialism, but then they go to countries and vacation in countries where.
Sign up Social Security, Medicare. That's all you need to say.
Okay.
It's absolute socialism.
The military.
Anything else?
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Binks. I'm reluctantly sending this audio message because you said you prefer audio messages.
Yes.
I am reaching out about the panic attacks you mentioned. I had a period of about 3 years where I suffered from panic attacks, and the method I came up with to deal with them was called ABCD.
I'll never remember that. Keep going.
A, awareness of your thoughts.
She does her own music.
What anxieties are rolling in your brain? Can you let them go, or at least consider they might be bullshit? B, breathe. Slowly and deliberately. C, calm your body. Search for any parts that might be tense and relax them. D, don't draw in others. Telling other people you are freaking out tends to make them freak out and just exacerbate things. Try to leave others out of it unless it's a true emergency. I hope it helps someone else out there.
Why kill the music now?
ABCD.
Yeah,
I actually used to keep
going.
it in my wallet on a slip of paper as a reminder.
Yeah, it's hard to remember.
Thanks, everyone. I'm a Saturday listener. You guys are my treat for making it through another week of coronavirus. Thanks a lot.
I like her. I like her production.
I
value.
love that she
take notes.
She brings her own keyboard. BYOK. Yeah, I don't. Mine are not about doubt. I don't think my panic attacks. I'm not like you have no right to. I'm just I get an adrenaline. I get an adrenaline surge, and my body's not used to it.
So you don't have racing thoughts?
No, I just can't really breathe, which is hard when one of the key things to talking is you have to inhale.
Yeah.
So I can't really breathe, but I can, and then I can't really remember what I'm supposed to say because I'm thinking about.
Can you just
suffocating.
like deep?
I don't know. I'm gonna reapproach it, but I don't think it's because I don't. My thoughts aren't racing. Like I'm gonna fucking. It's just this thing. It's basically keyboard, but it's like it just, and it kind of overwhelms you. And I don't know when it's going to happen.
And how long does it generally last?
20 seconds.
And then so it's like, then it's done. What do you do? Are you like?
Then I'm fine. I'm like, where am I? Who are you?
Memento.
No, I'm fine. It's when I'm there to speak.
And you don't know when that's going to happen.
Not really. New stages is one of the things, or a place I haven't been in a while. Like at the Improv, I kind of had one.
New stages.
Yeah.
So it's a form of stage fright.
Not exactly, because it's not stage fright is any stage. Like this is a new environment. Like Dave doesn't do sound check. Chris does. Because he wants to know what whenever I'm on a new stage, I think I'm going to fall off. Because I'm like, I don't know. I'm like the Kelsey Grammer falling off the stage. I'm truly afraid I'm going to fall. And Rock, I think, is too. So I have to go like look at it to know where the parameters are. Because I'm afraid I'm going to fall and go, oh. Could have shown it. Don't worry about it. Well, so.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Yeah. So those are all the audios?
No, there's a couple more.
Oh, great. Thank you for all the audio questions, guys.
Yes, we love.
Hey, detectives, Jimmy McNeilty and Binks Moreland. Pardon the shitty wire pun. I have a question for Neal. You say you know what happens after you die because of insight you've gained through plant medicine. I'd like to know what makes you so certain in the objective reality of your experiences and how that's different from faith, which you used to shit on a lot. I'm not casting doubt on what you learned. I just want to know how you logically justify your newfound belief system. it's probably clear I've never done ayahuasca, and there's something I can't understand until I've done it. But how could you explain it to someone who hasn't been in that realm? All right. Thanks for the great podcast.
I love everyone sounds hostile, even, and then they're like, "Love what you guys do."
Yeah,
really?
like,
Why are you
really
mad? I would have guessed you were mad at me. I didn't say I know what happens when you die. I said I get I have a different conception of it now. And the reason I think it's true is because I was not told it. It was just kind of, if you accept that there's a universal being, I'm such a maniac. If you accept that there's a universal beam, then you go, yeah, I'm just going to go into the beam. I don't know. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen. And it sounds like faith. Because it is. I was an atheist, and now I'm not that anymore. And the faith part, I guess it's faith, but I tie all that shit up in crosses and rosary beads and all that shit. So I don't. It's more like I think that's what's going to happen, but I'm not. I don't. That's what it seems like is going to happen. Whereas before it seemed like nothing was going to happen.
Right.
Now it seems like something's going to happen.
I watched a show called I Survived Beyond and Back. I'm not suggesting
they use that little kid. There's a little kid who, like, there was a book where he said and then it turned out to not be true.
Oh, that's Heaven is Real.
Yeah.
That's what that movie's based on. Because he says heaven is real. Nobody in I Survived Beyond and Back talks about heaven.
There's a new one on Netflix apparently, like Cheating Death or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And all the stories are really kind of similar. Like their bodies dying and their spirits leaving them, and
it's all James Earl Jones. Go ahead. He should do that. I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he did I Survived Dying.
Anyways, basically, if you listen to a lot of them, it's similar enough where, I don't know, when I did ayahuasca, it all feels similar.
Yeah.
More similar than what religion tells you is going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I take those two
religion,
things
like I said, is a perversion of ayahuasca, or that's what I kind of think.
Religion is everything a perversion of ayahuasca?
Mostly.
Okay.
But I actually believe that because
I know.
it's like a game of telephone where you're like, what?
Yeah.
You guys aren't absolutely wrong, but like,
right.
What? Mad at who? Hell. What are you talking about? So, anyhow. So drop the hostility next time.
Goodbye. You've got
hello, Neal and Blink 182. I've been following more comedians on Instagram this past year, and a lot of them post 10 to 20 stories every single day, along with many traditional photo posts. Although these people have awesome and unique personalities, I can't help but get fatigued and unfollow them after a few weeks. Heck, even accounts that post once a day get annoying eventually. While it is important to have social media presence for public figures, why do you think so many comedians and other people in the entertainment industry are tone deaf to the amount of content that is palatable? Neal, you found a good balance of posts a few days a week, and that keeps your presence more fresh than many of your contemporaries. And Bianca, your smoking hot photos a few times a month is a perfect amount to keep us saying "Have mercy" in a Jesse Katsopoulos voice.
No, you have to say it.
I only know it from the Hulu commercial. I've never seen it on the actual show. Nope.
Do your best version?
Have mercy.
No.
I'm not doing what am I, Norman Lloyd over here? Do a thing. No.
A tennis racket.
Yourself.
Go grab your tennis racket.
Yeah, good. No, show us. It's a talent show all of a sudden. I don't know what the right amount is. We are doing pretty good. Think anyone to him, but I think that the more you post, I think it affects the algorithm where you can get more. I think you can just get more followers that way.
Yeah.
I don't my jokes are in two categories. They either work or they don't. I'm not going to sell it with charm. I'm not that cute. I'm not going to try to make like sexy ones. I'm just never going to. So if I post something, it's probably funny. Now, having said that, sorry, I had to eat some pussy in the middle. Real quick, I had to eat a pussy real quick. Let me knock this pussy out real quick while I'm talking about the internet. And so I don't know, and I also don't know why people follow me or unfollow me. I have no fucking idea.
That post
follow,
you made,
I understand.
The post you made, how you netted one person is
in
so
a week.
funny.
In a week of Instagram, I lost 700 and gained 701 for like whatever's supposed to work for people does not work for me. Like I remember Dalia going like, just post, the more you post them. And I was like, I just don't, that's not going to work for me. It's just not going to work for me. And sure enough,
you're going to be the outlier.
Yeah,
data
I'll
point.
be the, whatever it is, I'm not going to do it. It will not favor me. Doing things like the classic will not work. Will not work. Your thoughts on frequency of posting?
It depends. You know, a lot of times I want to post and I'm like, no one cares. Like that happens to me a lot. I'm like, no one cares about my opinion. On this. When I just don't think that and I post it and then everyone's like, yay. I've never had a not doing well thing. It's that I don't like being annoying. I guess I don't like being annoying with me and my opinion and my whatever is Binky. There's something about like there's the amount of times I write something rude and I'm like, just that's not nice. Like I don't.
Yeah. Oh, you don't get into the sport fighting.
None of
the
social
karate.
media just doesn't. I don't have. I'm not bonded to it. It doesn't bait me in. I don't go for the bait.
Yeah.
So even if the Twitter karate, the complimentary, even all of that. I mean, I can post sexy photos. I have a bazillion sexy photos. I just okay.
That must be nice. Go ahead.
Even the complimentary feedback I get from like a nice photo, a nice photo doesn't make me want to post more.
Well, it's gross. It's
no,
like
it's
so
nice. No, it's not gross necessarily.
I guess it's gross wanting it.
Yes, exactly. Or if somebody says something online, I watch my trash TV and I follow the people secretly. And sometimes they do things I don't like and I want to scold them. But I'm like,
interesting.
Don't do that. I don't have I never take the bait.
Well, yeah,
people yell at me. They're like,
was writing a
more.
thing this week where it was like, the internet is basically it's like a store you go to get batteries and then someone bumps you and next thing you know you're in a fucking melee. But you went there just to get the score of the game.
Right.
And then you fucking like, fuck, I'm a pussy. Fuck you.
And then there's the checkout line with a bunch of shit you don't need.
Yep.
And you're like,
it's just not worth anything. Lakeith Stanfield had a good week on social media. I did see that.
He was too active.
Right.
Like,
but it's all,
what are you
the
doing?
thing is, if you're famous, any post that isn't promotional, I mean, they're all promotional, but some of them are just a deposition. It's just a deposition for a trial that hasn't happened yet. You're just your fucking opinion about blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Okay, this is gonna be this is all on the record.
Also, get a Finstagram. What's the problem?
Right.
Because Lakeith was doing stuff like going on chat rooms and moaning. I'm like, come on, man.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
he needed a break.
Goodbye.
Hi,
You've got
Neal and
mail.
Bix. This is a good question. I have a professional question. I'm a white woman who has worked at my company for over 10 years. Over the past few years, I'd become bored in my job, and last summer, I started looking for a new one. Couldn't find one. Applied to around 30 places and never got an interview. Luckily, I was eventually assigned to a new project at my current company, my dream project. The project is a large one that requires 2 people to manage. Because the company is mostly white men and we were in the throes of an increased national awareness around racial inequity, a lot of people, including myself, pushed to hire a non-white person from outside. They ended up hiring a black woman. We are several months into co-working the project, and the new hire is, all caps, terrible. She doesn't have the needed experience. She doesn't like to work hard, and she has major issues with depression and anxiety that greatly affects her ability to do her job. She has no boundaries and relies on me to do the majority of the work and to be her therapist and emotional and mental support. In the end, she gets the same amount of credit as I do, regardless who does the work. Here are my questions. What do you do when someone is bad at their job because of mental health? Is that an excuse? Also, is the fact that she's a black woman in a company that has little diversity mean she should get extra consideration and leeway if she's not good at her job? What should I do as an individual making less money than her? I wish someone hadn't told me that, who is taking the brunt of the negative effects of the poor performance. I feel like I can't quit because of my previous job hunting experience, and also, should I be expected to? Love your consideration. Love hearing your perspective on the pod. It's a toughie.
It's tough because whoever hired her didn't do a good job, because it's not that she's, what did she say? She said
the person who hired her was black. I'm kidding.
She said she doesn't, first thing,
she
doesn't have the needed experience.
Yeah.
So already you're
the guy,
not
it
doing
sounds
a
like the
service
guy who hired
here.
her just like drove around.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're setting hires like this, like sympathy hires, not, hey, 3-4 qualified people, one of them has to be black. Let's give the black person an opportunity. That's what people are generally saying. I know there's other like affirmative action, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying in this one, you're not helping this push for diversity because you're not hiring this isn't a diversity hire. This is a incompetence hire.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is going to happen. This probably is happening a lot right now. Meaning for all of the people that were qualified and didn't get jobs and got jobs, they're doing great because they're talented. And then there are a bunch of people who aren't talented and weren't getting jobs and then got jobs. And now people are like, fuck.
I think it's probably a lot less than you think, just because you can make a good case that this person knows what the fuck he's doing. But the guilt or the let's try this thing new, I think you're right. I'm sure there's a lot, but I don't know how many people are going to fuck up their job and
from what I can tell on Earth, off the top 30%. That's off the top. On every job I've ever had, 30%.
But that's the problem. Think of every job you've ever had. Think of the amount of people that were terrible at their job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I don't.
So
think,
that's the
right.
problem.
I'm not saying like they're all black.
No.
Yeah.
I know. We're just talking about non-white.
Yeah.
But now the hire has extra weight on them because they are a diversity hire, let's say, even though we've all worked in jobs where there were so many unqualified people. They just happened to be, we weren't even, either they were white or we're not talking about it, or we don't frame it that way. So.
Well, you don't frame that way if you're white. I'm sure the black people are like, this white motherfucker. But like, you don't say it. When it's your group, you don't mention. We don't. Like, that's not my concern. But when it's another group, you're like, this fucking. Can you believe it? These fucking Asians.
Tell me.
I don't. This is one of those things where normally I say eat it, but this feels like too much to eat.
It's a lot to
and
eat.
In this case, I don't know. I would keep looking for a job. And because you also don't want to snitch.
No, and she seems to confide in her.
Like it. And there's the emotional aspect of the woman having anxiety and
depression,
and not wanting to fuck up her life. This is one of them things.
Well, I wonder if, I don't know. Can we just have a subpar output?
What do you mean in that? But like, why do we have to? Because if she was white, you fucking get rid of her. Right.
Or maybe if she was a white man, I think easier to get rid of right now.
Yeah, I think white women, I can't speak to.
I just mean because it said
everybody's a white man. He never even gets a job. 2021, you can't get a job.
Sorry.
You can't. They try to take my pie. They try to fire me from my own podcast. They wanted more color. I said, you guys, how much do you need?
I bought a red table.
Come on, a red table makes Bianca. I got Bianca a shirt, an orange shirt. Yeah. So I don't know. This is above my. This is usually I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You're a Lori Lightfooting.
Yeah,
your
I
way
don't know what
this.
to, I don't want to make this choice.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Put some feelers out there, as it were, no pun intended, and try to leave. And then this is one of those things where you just wink on the way out.
Right, like
where they go, "How was Lisa?" And you go, "You know what? She grew a lot," or something that's not a compliment, faint praise. Say medium talent.
just walking out.
Yeah, but I don't know what to do. I'd say
that's really tough.
Keep pulling.
Attaboy, bird.
You're more than your weight, and go on LinkedIn or whatever. Monster.com, whoever's anybody, go on BetterHelp, sponsoring this week.
Goodbye. You've
Neal
got
Bianca,
mail.
LSTNER. Had a little hoe phase in my 20s, and then I thought I wanted to get married and dated in my 30s. These apps. Then thought I wanted to get married.
I know,
and dated in my 30s. I don't know what the fuck she's saying. These apps are just torture for me, and I find myself still single at 41. And I think I'm good with that, but I do be wanting sex, especially after the year we've had with working at home and so much alone time. So I think I want to get back on the apps, but just for sex without the horseshit of dating. One wrinkle is that, a little over 2 years ago, I had my breasts and nipples removed. I had the BRCA genetic mutation that I had my breasts removed preventatively to avoid cancer, 60 to 90% of getting it in my lifetime. It was a good decision and a huge deal in my life, so I'm glad I did it. I did get breast reconstruction, so in close, you'd never know that I had, quote, work done. I do have scars, and I'd be a real dick to let a partner just find out pre-coitus. So I will need to get a little heavy with someone on an app, and I don't know the best way to go about it while still keeping the encounter super light. So my query is twofold. Best way to get uncomplicated dick at 41? And also, how do I let men know that my titty game is weak, actually non-existent? Feel, think, feel, bonk, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, she has boobs.
Right, that's what I'm unclear on.
Right.
If you have boobs...
What's the problem?
And I've also heard of people getting nipples tattooed in these situations.
That the BRCA, like, it's just the breast tissue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, when some people have the giant scars across their boobs, right?
That's reduction.
That's reduction.
That's the anchor scar.
Okay. Or isn't there some where people have breast cancer and it's just like a large scar?
Yeah, I think Tig had that from her special.
Or like really big scars. Is that this?
I think if it's reconstruction.
I don't know.
Look up breast reconstruction.
Yeah, Mira. Look at that line.
Oh, right. I see the woman on the right. I think. I'm
just wondering how.
I've seen people get that tattooed. So
the nipple.
Yeah.
Oh, Mira. Look.
Yeah.
That looks so awful.
Yeah. So I would suggest getting a nipple tattoo, and of course get a HowNealFeel logo.
Stupid.
While you're there, why not? That's on the house. That's on the house. And if not, because first of all, I think the guy, just that lump is pretty. It gets me 80% of the way there. Meaning, just like even with no nipple, I'm like, all right.
She's lump.
Yeah, like even with no nipple, I'm like, that's a boob. I don't know any guys with that. You know what I mean? I mean, I know a few guys. Let's be honest, but like, I don't know any guys with a thing that looks like a boob with no nipple. So either get it tattooed or because my point was guys I don't believe anyone actually cares about nipples. I think it's a thing that it's like visit the gift shop.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they're there. I want to do something to them. The nipple's sensitive, but not really compared to other parts of the body. And most women, my experience, of course,
More disclaimers.
Firsthand. And so get a tattoo, and if not, just keep your shirt on, or keep a
like a really
lingerie
cute
on.
bra on.
Yeah.
But her question is, okay, we're texting, we're chatting on an app. Do you want to know beforehand? Should I be like, oh,
I think she's overestimating guys' fear level.
I think she should just say it right before. Be like, that's
guys will. You could literally go, I need $100, and a guy will be fine.
Get hot and heavy.
How
kiss,
do I
boom,
get
boom.
an ejaculation with you?
Yes. So hot and heavy kissing, boom, boom. You go to take off. No. I don't know my boobs. Like I just have a blank.
Yeah.
I'm
long
embarrassed.
story short, I don't think you need to cover it up. You just go, Angelina Jolie, because she had this surgery.
Yeah, she had the exact
She's
same.
hot, right? You like her, you want to fuck her. I have the same breast thing as her.
Okay.
So just keep a run.
And the guy will be like,
a guy's not gonna care. I promise you, he's not gonna
he's not
care.
gonna care.
Like you're good.
And if you
it's
say
not
I
a
feel more
secret.
comfortable, like blank, he's gonna be like, whatever gets to sex, and
Yes.
that's what you want.
Yes, you both want the same thing.
Yeah.
What is it? It begins with an E.
Ejaculation.
That's right. Somebody make a song.
With the best.
Goodbye. You got mail.
Breno and Binks. You guys mentioned Australia in a recent episode that I was shocked to hear that someone as worldly as Bianca was so anti-Australian, going as far as to do an unflattering impression of our accent, though accurate. As an Aussie listener, I considered writing in previously to ask your thoughts on Australia, especially around Neal's U.S. escape plans. This guy then comes with a bunch of, oh, wow, sorry. I'm sure I don't need to bore you with details on how well we handled COVID and how amazing our beaches and food culture is, but I did want to focus on dismissing some of Binky's fears so she might honor us with her presence here down under, perhaps for her next #fuckfest. I did some research, and in Australia, between 2000 and 2013, there were only 27 deaths from snake bites, an average of just 2 people per year. These are good stats. And as for spiders, it will shock you to discover there have been no fatal spider bites since 1979.
Okay, cool.
0 deaths. Sure, they're big as fuck and sometimes eat birds, but they can't hurt you.
They
just
eat birds?
make you shit your pants. You know who else eats birds? Pretty much every animal, including humans, especially humans.
Relax. They don't
Not
jump out of the
NB,
sky and
not
eat
NB.
their-
I don't eat birds,
Yeah, you don't.
but others do. Though that was clear my throat for everyone listening. You know who you are. Though this one unlucky bloke got bit in the dick twice by a snake, apparently.
All right. Well,
yeah, you're
chat
not
with the nature docs. They make it seem frightening in your
Yeah.
planet. Your planet seems frightening to me. But I've been getting a lot of DMs. I've read all your DMs. I am sorry. I'm not trying to insult people of Australia.
I think take it to death threats, guys, huh? Let's take this up a notch. Some more interesting quick myths to confirm or deny. Vegemite is delicious.
Nope.
Kangaroos are often seen in the suburban streets. We don't drink Foster's. It isn't even for sale here. Shrimps are prawns and we rarely barbecue them. Toilets flush normal.
Question. See, here's the thing. The amount of Australian friends I have that say, you will never see a kangaroo jumping down the street. And then this guy's saying you do. Yeah.
People have different experiences.
They got to get it together.
Some women have very sensitive nipples. Others do not.
Oh, I know.
Oof.
Woof.
Shots fired.
I'm going to read this one. Hi, Nardo and Bardo. Long-time Tuesday night listener, LSTNER.
That's nice.
Like Neal, I'm a huge fan of ice cream. Almost to the point where I can't stop eating it. At least once, sometimes 2 at least one, sometimes 2 bowls a night. To try to eat less of it, I've tried things like only buying 1 or 2 liter tubs for the month, but that's gone within a week or less. And then I'll just end up eating more, mainly due to stress eating, staying at home and the stay-at-home order in Ontario grad school, blah, blah, blah. I like the idea of ice cream night and was curious if yours is weekly, monthly, and things you do to help yourself stick to that schedule. Thanks.
Well, great.
This is
As
great.
good
More
a question. It's every 2 weeks. Used to be once a week. Now it's every 2 weeks.
Okay.
The thing about sugar is once you get out of that 3-day window, you don't crave it. I do have ice cream on site.
That's right.
It is if you're a sugar person and you break out of like 3 days, it's so much easier.
Okay.
You just don't crave it like chemically. Like
you eat sugar every day?
I'm an American, aren't I? No, I don't. But I'm saying,
like, I mean, like added sugar, like something.
Everyone does, dude. Like in America, there's sugar in spaghetti. So there's sugar fucking everywhere.
But like, okay, I don't have a sweet tooth at all. Of course, there's sugar in things, right? Even starches turn to sugar. So blah blah blah. But
wait, what? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So I mean, do you candy, cookie, cakes, ice cream type of shit?
I eat sugar-free gum. A lot of it. And candies, cookies. Do
you buy
when
them?
I'm out of the window, I don't. But if I'm at a thing, if I'm at dinner and someone orders dessert, I'm like, fuck, I can't control myself.
It's weird. When we're on the first class flight to DC, they had so much good food and all you ate was cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ugh.
Have you had cookies? If you have a sweet tooth, there's nothing you can do about it. I just want sugar all the time.
So all of it just translates to delicious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had to, it was getting wild. Even once a week, I wouldn't eat dinner and I would just like cake. It was wild. It was graphic. It was graphic content.
Is this as an
in
adult?
this house.
In this house that me and Will are in
blessed
right now.
House. Okay. Yeah, it was wild. It got wild. I would just make myself sick.
Oh, it's such an addiction.
Yeah, it was also because I was only doing it once a week. I was like, live it up. And it's like with fasting where your body kind of resets. And so now ayahuasca might have helped less dependent on sugar.
So every 2 weeks you have an ice cream party.
Yeah. And now it's like half a pint, maybe a pint if I don't eat dinner.
Is a pint the square or the little?
No, the Ben & Jerry's one.
Mm.
It's no big deal.
And and then are they always like, do you do sugar-free ice cream?
No. I don't even do vegan ice cream. I do
regular
creamy.
ice cream. Creamy stuff?
Yeah.
Are you going to eat ice cream after this conversation?
I can't remember if it's tonight or tomorrow when my ice cream night is. Usually I had it in my calendar.
Do you feel shameful when you do it?
No.
Like afterwards?
No. It's just like, more about, I just didn't want to be, I wanted my body to be normal. I wanted my body to be like healthy. I just didn't want to be like, I was eating ice cream every night at one point. And
that's wild.
Yeah, I'd show up at the store with a cone. Everybody thought it was hilarious.
That's great.
People loved it. Don't get me wrong. But it was gross. Just gross. Like that concentration of sugar. And I gotta have it every night. It's disgusting.
Do you think it was, do you notice changes when you're eating ice cream than when you're not? Or you just know it's better for
on ice cream nights, I don't really feel great afterward because you spike and it's kind of gross.
Is it is it a sugar is addictive, that whole food addiction craving, or is it help you feel better in your day?
I like a regimen. We all know that.
Yes.
I'm due to have sex at 8:20 tonight.
Hurry, Will.
If you guys get out of here, I need to ejaculate. I like having a disciplined system. Even with snacks, I can't. I had to start getting individually packed.
I see that.
Yeah, I've individually wrapped
snacks.
Like, but it's not even snacks. It's like fucking cranberries and almonds. Yeah,
and you just would eat them.
I couldn't buy a whole bag because I couldn't meet out. I'm my own 4th grade son, is what it is. So I would just eat too much. I got pretzels at Costco against my better judgment. A giant bag. I've been hacking away at them.
Your addictions are
I just
from
don't
the 1920s.
like having
too many pretzels.
Yeah. I like my kerosene lamps, and I just don't. I like to eat during dinner time because I can't control it.
Do you have an addictive personality with other things, or is this just like a food related specific?
I've never really had a drug issue.
No.
Cigarettes.
That kind of gets a lot of people.
And Oxycontin, does that count? No, I've never really had a drug problem. I don't like the way drugs make me feel. Most of them.
Just stomach makes me feel nauseous.
But even opioids, I think I may have some now. I had it for maybe when I got the nose thing done, he gave me like 4.
Oh, I had something done and they gave me these things called T3, which are
Tylenol number 3.
They're very very strong Tylenol coated in oxycodone, I think. Yeah. They're just like
codeine,
it's like
just codeine.
Codeine.
Yeah.
What's oxycodone and codeine?
Oxycodone, I don't know. Just
codeine,
Tylenol number 3. Literally just put in Tylenol number 3, buddy. Thank you. Hit him with a buddy.
Just 3. Okay, fine.
Oral drug, acetaminophen and codeine, yeah.
And that I was so off of that.
Yeah.
I don't think
like
I have
that
so many.
feeling.
I have so many at home. Like I don't want these. I don't know how people.
This is how people get robbed. That's why I was kind of vague about mine. These people.
Oh, so I guess there is something they rob in this house.
No, they want. Yeah, I have 3, and if you can find them, bless you. So I don't. So I just need to be. My whole family's like that. Though. Like
everybody has. Everyone's.
I didn't even realize it. Probably 15 years ago, Sarah Silverman one time goes, "Brennans don't like snacks," and I was like, "How did you?" She just noticed it.
You guys are all observant.
Yeah. No, Sarah. Give Sarah the credit.
Sarah.
You've got mail.
Neal Bianca. I know there's letters and shit I'm supposed to write, but I just have Will make the noise. I don't think that was it.
I don't know.
Not a good noise. Doesn't make sense to anyone but you, and that's not a big enough audience for us.
Swing
I've got a question about. Thank you. I've got a question about what people say to each other as a family in their own homes.
Oh.
I'm referring to all the racist and crazy things that a family says to each other, not about different ethnic groups. I'm a white guy who has an Asian Islander for a partner, and we have a kid who's mixed. One of our favorite things is to make stereotypical Asian comments in extremely offensive voices while we cook and do things around the house. I'll go on record right now. A very satisfying thing to do. In recent years, we have learned to keep our voices down at the grocery store, but occasionally I'll get a dirty look from some white Becky who, it's actually a white Karen, who heard my bad Miley impression until she sees I'm with a couple of crazy rich Asians. My partner is a hairstylist, and the other day she was discussing this topic with a Jewish woman, how I would love to hear what gets said in that house, all caps. And we both suddenly realized that maybe we aren't so fucked up after all. What do you think? Is this a normal thing that families do? Is it okay for white people and mixed families to lean into the race-based jokes? He's asking 2 different questions here. Because I thought it was about what families say to each other, not about different ethnic groups.
Right.
So, and then he asked, what about different ethnic groups?
Right. You go.
You know, I had a joke in 3 mics about doing an impression of someone's accent. And Chappelle Show largely is me and Dave making fun of each other's race. is kind of. I mean, that's part of,
A Dave Chappelle
there you go.
story by Neal.
And so, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Obviously, you can be all for it. There are ones that are like one of the more popular obscure ones from Chappelle was, and then we just do the jingle, just do the wind chime part. We cut it down, make it wind chime. Beautiful. That black people use washcloths and white people don't.
Right.
That had never really been on TV before.
Right.
Who's hurt by that?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a weird.
Yeah, or like most people who aren't white wash their meat. White people do not wash their meat.
Correct. Or apparently a lot of white people don't wash their legs. Obviously, people know I don't wash my legs, but that's a big.
Not why? Oh yeah, because you think enough soap gets on it.
It's fine. Never
So
had a dirty
strange.
leg in my life.
You don't know that.
I do because I would have, or it didn't make a difference. It didn't do enough to infect me. So I think if it's within your house, yeah, but at the grocery store, you're doing fucking Asian bits.
Yeah, right.
Like, what are you doing, buddy?
One time, a friend of mine who was Indian, and I don't know why we just got into, I think this was in high school, and we just got into doing an Indian accent with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny, and we thought it was hilarious. And I realized I started doing it when he wasn't around at the bank. And and mind you, it was, my Indian accent got very good. I don't think it was a great accent, but it was better.
For what you were trying to do?
I took his accent. His accent was essentially of his parents.
Mom or something, yeah.
So mine became top tier Indian accent. But I just started noticing I'm doing it away from the protected source, and I'm no longer protected, at the bank.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we can't do this. I can't discern. Like, my gut reaction is to do the accent everywhere now. And I look crazy. I can't do this accent to people. Like,
no.
So
there's also, there's just, it's not even code switching. It's more like,
no,
that's not really the tone of, if I'm texting, like with Roy and Trayvon, there's a level, there's a type of joke we make that
And
we
they're cool.
might not make around other people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like dirty laundry, not literally dirty laundry jokes, but like shit that you wouldn't say probably around a lot of white people.
Right.
For instance. And they know that I'm like good for it.
And Neal,
I'm not, you know what I mean? Like,
wigger.
black man here. Thank you.
true.
So,
It's
like,
true.
I'm not gonna take it and weaponize it.
Right. But you also can't text like that to everybody.
Right. I can't then go, I just talked to so-and-so. And
No, you just have to make strict rules of when we do our my lay voice, and
Yep.
then when you don't, sir. You
Yes.
can't do it outside.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Shalom from the home, Binko and Narda. Binko
Cool.
and Narda. LSTNER, pleasantries, all that jazz.
That's nice.
I've heard you speak on the topic several times in the last episode. You also touched on not owing people you break up with specific reasons as to why, be it because of not wanting to put in the effort for a dead relationship, or just because it can be soul crushing for the recipient, and that's polite. Most recently, Binks referred to it not being her responsibility, but specifically because it wasn't a particularly long or serious relationship. I recently broke up with a woman who I've been with for nearly 6 years. The last 2, we were engaged. Because of the length of seriousness of the relationship, am I obligated to explain the specifics of why it didn't work out for me? Or can I just let things pass like the both of you seem to believe is acceptable? We've talked about it to an extent, but I feel bad bringing up the small details that make me feel like I'm picking her apart for an excuse. Most simply put, we were young and have grown apart in ways we didn't predict, because, shocker, you still have a lot of growing to do, even when you start to think you're a, quote, real adult. We're both in our mid-20s now.
Oh, God.
For reference, I'm 26 and she's 24.
No, it's too young.
Who knew foo and why bink fink? No, it's we grew apart. it can, a lot of times it can just come down to habits. If you say, I do this, you don't seem to like it or want to do it with me. And that's not an accusation. You can just say like your level of passion or interest doesn't match mine. By the way, that's a good breakup thing. Your level of passion does not match mine.
Right. But no, well, the problem is that the person hearing that can be like, no one's like, I am a dispassionate person that doesn't have a burning
I'm saying
for anything.
in this, I love motocross or whatever this guy's interests are.
Right.
Most HowNealFeel listeners love motocross. By the way, there has been a spike in Tuesday listeners because I think people don't want to not be one. So
we shame them into their behavior.
So I still think you can be vague about it because I promise you whatever your problems are not going to be the same ones that the next person has. I mean, maybe they will be, but maybe they won't be.
I just mean to your point about, just really quick, the passionate thing. Someone could be like, I know people who've like, no, I can learn. I want it,
But I don't want to force you into.
Not a clean
I know what you mean.
Because people take that as like, well, either I'm passionate or I can learn to, you never told me you wanted me to have those interests. We don't have to be interested in the same thing. I feel like it leaves it open for
them to say, I'll change.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh.
But my thing is with any of these things, I don't need you to change. I don't want you to change. I don't need you to change your interests. I'm not your son.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Where you have to drive me to soccer.
I want you bad. And if I want you bad and you're telling me reasons, they have to be reasons I can't rationalize around.
I gotta fuck other girls.
2 a day, actually.
Two call girls a day. I wonder if the call girl economy could even support that. How many? That's 700 call girls a year. And then
700 call girls a year. And well,
I wonder if there are 700 call girls.
Well, maybe if it's like, if there's a way to, maybe we can ask Bill Gates to help us figure out if there's
algorithm.
10 billion.
I mean, if anybody's got a pussy algorithm.
If we have to I feel a pussy algorithm.
I don't think I don't say it very much on here.
Pussy algorithm?
I said it before. I was like, you don't say pussy. I kind of don't even say pussy.
I like when you say pussy.
Well, people love it. People do love it. You don't know her anything, and I think we grew apart is good. And then just lean into your feelings.
Also, I think you should, for the person being broken up with, have whatever level of closure they need. If it's just like, okay, but can you please, like, some people do get stuck, So I'm not saying you have to say.
I was going to ask that. Do you think that, I don't know anyone who ever thinks, if you go 5 years later, anyone thinks we should still be together. You always get information or you change your life in a way that it makes it
obsolete.
Better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're like glad. I don't know anyone who's like, oh, Martha.
Fucking moths. Why are they coming near me?
Fucking moths.
I think it's because the people who also regret is, I think, very painful. So a lot of people aren't. Even the people who regret, like, hey, maybe I could have appreciated that person more, or I was immature, I wasn't ready. You're right. They're still not saying, they're just like, I fucked it up. I learned.
Yeah, I think everyone looks back and goes, I could have been better. But I don't know anyone who's like, we should still be with each other.
Right.
She should be here right now. Life's good that way.
Right.
Where
you'll find a way to, okay.
It's that thing of like regressing to the mean, where people who win the lottery go back to where they were before the lottery, and people who lose their legs, same thing.
Right.
And it's good and bad. It's good if you lose your legs. It's bad if you lose the lottery. If you win the lottery.
Really quick, when he says, we say we didn't owe it, I think that is before you get into a relationship. I think you have free reign to not share I think you have free reign to share as much of your energy with someone while you're not talking to them anymore as you want. You're pretty good, but you don't go into specifics. You just be like, I'm talking before you enter a relationship.
What about it?
Well, because he said, you guys say it's not really your responsibility, but that's before going into a relationship. I
think he's talking about you. We both agree that like you don't tell the person what they did wrong
before you're in a relationship. But once you're in a relationship, I think you do have some degree of like,
when you're breaking up, I'm
right,
saying.
Yeah, when you're breaking up.
You think you should tell somebody?
With what level of commitment are you talking about?
You dated, he was your boyfriend for a year and a half, and you guys are breaking up, or you want to break up with him. He's kind of like, why?
I think you should say something.
Oh, that's I didn't know that, and nobody in America knew that. Or Australia.
No, because he says, I said because it wasn't particularly long or serious.
Oh, you believe that after a certain amount, you should tell them?
Tell them something. I mean, you don't just hang up the phone.
No, of course not. I think we grew apart is adequate.
Right. So you don't do specifics on no matter what.
Try to keep it on yourself. Another good one is I don't have the same feeling I had a year ago than when we were dating a year ago. I don't have the same energy, the same amount of like looking forward to it, and you deserve it. That's where you go. You put it on them. You deserve that level of energy. I can't do it anymore.
I do what you do. I don't put it on them. I'm not like, well, you do.
Yeah.
I'm always like, look, like we're arguing. You're like, you can put it into like happiness or like, and like, it's not working out is the point. So you can owe them something, but I don't know, 6 years. I don't know. This seems like you can't.
They don't even know. By the way, her amygdala is not formed. Her frontal lobe. She's 24.
So just, sir, tell her, sit her down and say,
25.
your amygdala isn't formed yet.
Lady,
this isn't working.
I'm here with a complete amygdala. And you're fucking over there.
Your amygdala is not formed yet, okay?
I think it's the amygdala, or it's the frontal lobe. Or the frontal cortex. The frontal cortex would have been funnier. Because it's got the hard K. Text.
Goodbye. You've got
Hello,
mail.
Binks. On your latest show, you spoke about comparing yourself to others on the planet to acknowledge the good in your life. Here's a helpful pep talk for when you're feeling down on yourself.
Okay.
1, do you have access to clean water? Yes. Then great job. You're doing better than 33% of the world's population. Do you have access to a toilet? Yes. Way to go. You're doing better than most people on Earth. 60% of the population do not have access to a toilet.
That's crazy.
And I'm not talking about people at Starbucks who are not customers and can't get the code. I'm talking about 4.5 billion fucking people. Bill Gates, big toilet guy, trying to figure that out.
He is.
And fucking along the way. If he fucks a little bit along the way and I get a toilet out of it, who gets hurt? Melinda French Gates is who gets hurt. Do you have a full-time job where you make more than $16 an hour? Sweet. You make $34,000, which puts you in the richest 1% of the world's earners.
Wow.
Do you suffer from malaria? No. Excellent. Since 40% of the world lives in malaria risk zones, with 1 million people a year dying from it. That's another Bill Gates area. And you know what's disappointingly effective? Like not glamorous, because when you go on Charity Navigator or any of these things, nets.
Yeah.
Just buy nets for people. It's like, can't I do a well and a dig? Nope. Nets. We need nets.
I remember hearing about malaria and how it's the #1 killer, and I Googled why we don't have malaria here. Because we have screens. Mm-hmm. It was just screens and close your window campaigns in the 40s and like 50s.
A lot of moths, though.
Fucking
do you have internet? Yes. You're in the top 59% of the globe. Do you listen to HowNealFeel each word for free? Yes. What more could you ask for?
A lot of these are Bill Gates.
Anchor,
Internets.
Yep.
Toilets.
Anchor. BetterHelp. Music and Talk. Those are the sponsors. You get it for free, but you got to listen and you got to go on BetterHelp. And, promo code. But seriously, do it. You don't have to do it for us. But it helps if you go on these places.
Goodbye.
Love the podcast. Please bring back the champs. That shit was hilarious. No thanks. I have a question. If vaccines takes years to test, and this 1 year rollout of the COVID vaccine was expedited because of the pandemic, how do they have different flu vaccine each year from what I understand? He's wondering how the flu vaccine works.
He could have Googled this.
But because you came here, I'll tell you, they have a different, they get 6 months ahead. And then part of it's guessing.
Goodbye.
Hi, RLSTINE or whatever. I just watched In and of Itself, streaming on Hulu. After a friend emphatically recommended it, I fell in love with the film and was emotionally shook and intrigued throughout the entire performance. Cried for the first time in a long time. Would love to hear a Neal and Bianca review this one. I believe this should be viewed without any knowledge of what it is. Go in blind and enjoy the ride. Sir, do you want us to tell people about it or not?
What the hell? I haven't seen it, so I don't want to know.
You still haven't seen it?
No.
You have to see it.
Because I keep forgetting.
In and of Itself on Hulu, starring my good friend Derek. A great show that I saw live and watched that on Hulu. And it's one of the only specials I've ever seen that is filmed in a way that adds to it. Like there's some cut tos and stuff that obviously weren't in the theater, but it's very, very well. It's fucking immaculately. Frank Oz directed it.
This is the thing. I don't always love watching magic. So I'm trying to get myself into a place
barely. That's the category it falls under, but it's not really magic.
Okay.
Watch a half hour. If you don't like it, you're free to go.
Okay.
And I will never forgive you.
Goodbye.
Okay.
You've got mail.
Neal and Bank, love the weekly doc check-ins, and I'll admit to using your show as a filter review system before docs I watch. Tuesday listener, Thursday doc watcher. Sir, that's not a category. However, I've tried to set a standard for any nonfiction content, doc, news, or books that I consume. Number one, the subject isn't clearly evil or bad for society. Not interested in watching how terrible people can be. Trump/murder docs. Number two, the subject isn't clearly the subject isn't clearly less intelligent than me. Not interested in learning how stupid people can be. Tiger King, some reality TV. How do you feel about watching evil and stupid people? Does it ever feel like it's just normalizing ignorance and immorality? Sir, a lot of documentary. You're like shitting on a lot of good. You're throwing away a lot of good content here with these standards.
It's true.
Like, what do you watch?
Right.
What isn't about murder in some way or death
or people less
being
intelligent?
stupid?
Yeah,
like,
people
what
being stupid.
stories do you like? Like, I can't even think of any.
I'm trying to
Is it uplift? I don't
Epstein. That's negative.
Very
and
negative.
Maybe he's intelligent, but then you could make a claim maybe he's not. I don't know. I'm trying to think of.
He's got as dumb a speaking voice as you've ever heard. It's unbelievable.
It's a list.
It's Michael Cohen.
It's everything.
Self-aggrandizement.
Yeah. Take a good doc. See if we can.
Fucking Art of Killing or The Act of
Yeah,
Killing.
Act of Killing.
That's
killing
in the title.
Showa. Blackfish.
Mr. Death. Blackfish. Fucking
Blackfish is full of stupid people and murder.
Like, look up Netflix docs.
Like best documentary
Yeah.
or something.
My Octopus Teacher. Okay. I mean, yeah, if you want to watch My Octopus Teacher.
You're not smarter than an octopus.
But also, I didn't like Octopus Teacher. Athlete A. It's about sexually abusing young women. Seaspiracy is negative. Tell Me Who I Am, negative. Great Hack, negative. Social Dilemma, negative. Last Breath. I mean, literally every single Fire Festival.
All of this is bad for
Jim
society.
and Andy, annoying. He was in character the whole. I don't care.
Right.
He just sounded like a fucking nightmare to deal with. Yeah, but he was. Dude, I don't care. The movie didn't do good, and he seemed like a nightmare. Last Blockbuster. There you go. Last blockbuster, sir. It's about the last blockbuster, and if you enjoy that, there's also one about Tower Records called, I think, The Last Record Store or something, that Tom Hanks' son Colin directed, not Chet Hayes, and it is not White Boy Summer. It's the more mature Colin Hanks, and it's I guess All Things Must Pass is the name of the documentary. It's about Tower Records, and nothing bad happens. In fact, the guy who directed it is the son of America, Mr. America, Tom Hanks.
He wants the music docs, like behind the music.
Yeah,
like,
but they're all those
Bee
are
Gees.
not. Yeah, okay. Your 90% of shit is that.
Yeah.
So,
sir, I don't know.
Good luck during Oscar season with those movies, because you're in for a real nightmare. I'm not only do I not have to take this shit, I don't want to.
No.
I'm no longer interested in taking it.
He's over it.
Thank you all for listening. Bye. Thanks, you guys.